goblin genocide, the usual stuff. And sorry, I'm a little unhinged this session. The usual stuff. Goblin genocide, the usual stuff. I said that already. And then they found out how the goblin was getting inside the village, and well, what at first was meant to be a simple plan of sneaking the goblin in, very quickly went sideways in the most colossal way. The goblin disappeared, leaving Kelnar and Kamali to search the village for them, and they ended up running into their old friend, Mr. Sunshine, Mr. Smiles. We all know him as Sir Amadeus. Some talks were had, some things were let slip, and he has now been made aware of the thieves in the woods. And we were introduced to our new member of the party. Mr. Trevove. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Probably not. Yes, a magician type who has already kind of shown he is about as soft as sandpaper.
Yes, a very, very likable person. Let's just say. Yes, but as always, first impressions are everything. And then, after that, they all went to bed, and they are now going to awake the next morning, so let us unfreeze time and let the adventure continue as we set forth on this session of Orphans of the Feywild. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah.
The DM hasn't had enough caffeine, so he's kind of running low on energy, but he's still trying.
It's okay.
And I'm very hyper at the moment, so we'll balance out, hopefully.
By the way, whoever is watching, is it good? Is the stream good? We're good? Hopefully.
Let me listen to audio real quick.
I think so. I'm not sure.
I accidentally had
the... It's only like a 3-second delay so far. That's not bad.
Really?
Audio and visual is perfect. Yes.
You guys want to know a funny thing? I'm running this through my hotspot.
That's crazy. It's really good.
It's so good.
It's funny because I'm actually using my phone as a Wi-Fi bounce. So my phone's connected to my Wi-Fi, and my computer's connected to my hotspot. So I'm technically
same internet. It's just you're using it as a bouncing point, which is funny.
A lot of phones aren't allowed to, they can't do that. Whenever you turn on the hotspot, you can't connect to internet for some reason. Mine allows that, so my internet's fantastic right now.
Yes, come for the D&D, stay for the tech tips.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's funny. It's like, come for the dice rolling, stay for the tech talk. Yes. So. Yes. So. You all had settled down for a good night's sleep, and you all got off relatively well. During the night, Kamali has a very strange dream, which for the purposes of roleplay, I'm going to ask the players of Kelnar and Trevove to mute me for a second while I explain the dream to Kamali.
Alright. Done.
I muted you.
In this case, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Well, I hope everyone who's joined us, if anyone is here, is enjoying their time.
Okay. Alright, guys, you can unmute. If you hear me, you can unmute.
Okay.
Velvet, can
Velvet.
you hear me?
Velvet.
Oh no.
Here.
He's
Oh,
here.
there
He's here. I've
Very good.
unmuted you, Mr. Dungeon Master.
Very good.
I have unmuted both.
Very good. Sorry for that. Just wanting to keep the exclusiveness of a moment like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Kamali is awakened, she straight away sits upright in her bed, and the room in which you are staying in is pitch black. And Kamali, would you please kindly make a perception roll for me?
Sure. Is this passive?
No,
Wisdom?
perception.
Perception?
No, just roll and add your perception. This isn't passive perception. This is
Okay.
you trying to see what you can see.
That
We'll see
would.
what
I
you
rolled a
can see.
16, but
Mhm.
plus 4 is 20.
20. Okay. As Kamali sits bolt up, right, panting, and a bit of sweat on her brow from her dream, she straight away sees that the room is pitch black. There's no sunlight coming in through the windows, and the fire has died on. There's no candles lit. It's pitch black, but straight away she sees in the center of the room a figure. She sees a dark figure stood in the center of the room. And at first, due to just wake up and her vision being about, she doesn't recognize who it is. But after her eyes adjust to the darkness and and she kind of gains a sense of where she is, she recognizes the very stout figure. She recognizes it as the figure of
Mrs. Millard. She
Miss
is,
Millard? Is that you?
as you call out to her, you kind of see her form quickly you can see her form is kind of frozen in place, and as you call out to it, slowly relax her arms kind of coming down from there, like kind of held tense position. She slowly brings them down, and you see her kind of slowly creep over bit by bit, seeming to be very careful and aware, seeming to kind of step on particular floorboard and seeming very adamant to skip others and avoid them before she kind of comes to the foot of your bed. And
What are you doing here?
as you whisper
Shouldn't
that
you
to
be in
her,
bed?
she responds with a hushed, I'm sorry, dearie. I was in my bedroom when I heard something. I just wanted to come and make sure you're okay. It looked like you're having a bad dream, dearie. Are you alright?
I'm fine. I just get certain dreams from time to time, but I'll be okay.
Okay, dearie. Well, since I'm awake, is there anything I can get?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, dearie. She kind of stands there for a few moments and says, well, good morning, dearie, and I'm sure I will see you soon. And then she slowly turns away, and then once again seems to, at first it seems like she's making an over-exaggerated show of effort to creep, but then as soon as she kind of gets a few steps away from you, she then seems to kind of effortlessly, pardon me, seems to effortlessly just kind of walk away, seeming to know which floorboards to stand on, which not, as she kind of just goes for it, and then seems to open and close the door rather swiftly and without making any noise and without waking anyone else in the room.
What is she up to?
Right.
Mhm.
Kamali steps out of the bed quietly and goes towards a window in the room to see if the sun is rising or if it's still night.
As she looks through the shutters of the nearest window, she can see that the sky is, it's not pitch black, but it's not pitch black, but it's not exactly bright either. It's almost it's just basically you can just see the peak of the very top of the sun starting to rise, and you can kind of see like a warm glow in the distance. In modern terms, you'd assume it's about maybe 3 or 4 in the morning, so the sun is just peaking over the horizon.
Sunrise.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it's absolutely silent. It's once again absolutely silent.
I go back to the bed and bury myself under a blanket to hide the very bright light that will be emanating from my head.
Yes.
In hopes not to wake the others up.
Yes. By the way, since you all have had a long rest, Kamali, remember to give yourself back all your spell slots. Remember to
Okay.
make a note of you having your spell slots back. And if anyone has any abilities that require long rest to have, to have back, have them back since you've all had a long rest. You've had a full night's sleep.
People remember ads with the
And once you are done with that, I shall continue. Once everyone's done with checking that.
Okay, we're checking our spell slots.
Alright,
Yeah,
mine
just-
is good.
Yep, yours are
I love
returned.
whenever you activate the character sheet because I did nothing last time.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. Trevove is fine. You didn't
Yep.
really do anything, but I'm just making sure that the others are okay.
Of course.
I do remember that you two, Kamali and Kalnod did use spells or things that, yeah, you both did use spells, so you should be able to refill your spell slots.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab a pencil.
Okay. You should really have one, but okay.
Okay, spell slots.
They are on the spell page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have fog cloud, and what exactly? I'm confused still. What
So
exactly?
no, it's all right. I'll explain to you. It's all right. Don't worry. We're all new players here. So what the spell slots are. I'm just getting up a character sheet so I can try and visually explain this while looking at it. So spell slots on your magic sheet. So you'll see a little box. So you have a little thing that says spell level. So the spells that Kalnar has are all level 1 spells.
Okay.
And which is the level. Obviously, that designates what the level is. And then you have next to it spell slots. So what spell slots are is basically the way I say you envision them is like magic bullets, right? So you picking a gun, so you picking a spell is like you pick a gun, and then you load it with a magic bullet so you can use said spell. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you use a spell, you expend one of your spell slots, aka one of your magic bullets. And basically what they determine is how many times you can use a spell of that level. So since Kalnar, I believe you have 3 spell slots of first level, that means you can cast level 1 spell 3 times. So you can either cast the same one or you can cast a bunch of them. But every time you use one, you use a spell slot. So since you have 3 spells, you could cast each of your spells once or one of your spells 3 times or 2 times or so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, after a certain amount of time of rest, whether that be sleep or just sitting around not doing anything extraneous, you get them back, you regain them. So they are. I've explained what those are.
Okay.
So, and the box next to them, which is spell slots expended, just if you use 1, put a number 1 there. If you use 2, put a number 2 there. If you use 3, put a number 3 there. And obviously, you'll recognize it since you've used 3 and your maximum spell slots is 3. You've used them up. You can't use them until you regain them after a long or short rest.
I've used one from the session where I made the fire bear.
Yes. And
so
since you've had a long rest, you now regain that, so you can just put that straight back to nothing.
Mhm.
Okay.
You have all 3 of your spell slots now.
Okay.
We all good? We all understand?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And I do not want to hear anyone in the comments complaining. These are all new players, and I am new player friendly. Everyone needs things explained to. We all start somewhere, so no.
I'm not a new player. I'm just not used to it entirely
I'm
yet.
not a new player.
I
I'm
am
actually
a
an
new
old
player,
player, but
though.
I'm retarded, so I need help.
Oh shush! You're not retarded. Don't even. By the way, I've got some very lovely morning ambience playing.
Very good.
Very lovely.
Very
Right
lovely.
then, are we all ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, Kamali, you've gone back to bed to get some sleep. So,
No, I am
Oh.
awake still. I'm just underneath the blankets and covers, like hiding the
okay.
halo that is
Of course.
currently shining very brightly.
Okay. Would everyone please? Okay? Actually, no, not everyone, since you haven't gone back to sleep. So, would Trevove and Kelnar please roll just a straight roll with a d20 to see who wakes in what order you all wake up.
I got a 5. Oh boy.
Well, you never know. You never know. Trevove
I
could
got a
get lower.
15.
Yep, I think we know
Oh,
who
there we
woke up
go.
first.
Yes.
So next to wake up is Sestot Trevove.
Snotrov wakes up saying nothing and simply looking at the rats, at Chalky Ivan on his chest. Very gently petting him, while also trying to push him in his pocket. After that, Sesdot sat up and looked at Kamali, since the halo caught his attention.
She's hiding it.
I
I'm
assume that.
hiding it under the cover.
Wait, so
Yes.
I
How
cannot
thick
see
is
it.
said cover?
No,
Ah,
Okay.
no, you
Probably not.
can't. You can't see it.
then I apologize. Then
That's all right. That's perfectly fine.
my action is
That's-
done.
The
Okay,
most you
then.
guys would probably see is a lump in a pillow and blanket nest on the bed.
Why not? Is that all that Trevor wants to do?
Absolutely. He does not need to cause a ruckus, at least yet.
Okay, that's perfectly
And
fine.
it's an early morning. There needs
That's
to be
fine.
decent quiet yet.
That's fine. After a few moments, we Kelnar then starts to rouse from his slumber.
Kelnar happens to be a very heavy sleeper, and
Mhm.
I would like to say I don't think you have to roll for something like this, but he had a very, and wouldn't say good night's sleep, despite being a heavy sleeper. He did not have a good night's sleep, so
Mhm.
he lifts himself up, and you can hear audibly bones cracking as his back pops, and he steps up, his hooves clanking on the wood, and looks over at Trevove. Morning.
As Trevove heard those bones cracking, a shiver ran down his spine and he shivered. He, with a bit of disgust, looked at Kelnar, but still, with a smile on his face, said, "Good morning to you."
Kelnar gives him a very dry smile, only smiling with his mouth and nothing else. So he then looks over at Kamale, starts walking over, and puts his hand on the covers and shakes her. Kamale, it's morning. I don't know if you want to
I'm
sleep.
awake. I'm awake.
Oh.
I'm awake.
Okay.
And you sound like an old man when you wake up.
Well, try being a tall ass, whatever the hell I am. I'm tired. For your entire life, your bones start to get stressed. Anyways, I'm gonna go downstairs and get something to eat.
Is the magician man awake? I heard him talking.
He looks over at Trevove. Yes, he is indeed awake.
Trevove, presumably not hearing that since he is still relatively sleepy, just waves his hand, and you could also see the rat sticking his head out from the pocket.
Is it clear to come out? Because currently I'm as bright as a lantern.
Oh, what do you mean?
You remember how last time you asked me at the bar about why in the morning I had a
Oh, yeah,
golden
that's right,
crest
yeah.
halo thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens every single morning.
I'll kick him out 1 second. Hey, Trevove, would you mind giving us some privacy for a second? Maybe go downstairs and, get some breakfast. We'll meet you down there.
Trevove let out a very heavy and very audible sigh for everyone to hear, stood up quickly, shook his head in disapproval, and with nothing left to say, picked up his backpack, and left, waiting outside.
He
And before he leaves, Kamali calls out from the blanket, "Thank you."
yeah, he's gone now. That did not seem very happy leaving, but you're good now.
Well, he didn't have to leave. I was just wondering if he was awake or not, or. But then again, it's probably for the best. I don't think a lot of people around here wake up with this. And she like unveils the covers, and lo and behold, there is a halo
Is it solid?
floating above her head.
Like, can you touch
Yes,
it?
you see above her head is it's less like a halo in the sense of like in like the cartoon angels, and more is just like a bright glowing like ring of light around her head. It's less like a solid form of energy and more just an
Oh, it's
kind
just
of
floating fuzzy light, basically.
well, basically in like a ring shape. Like there's definitely a shape to it, but it's not like a solid mass. It's not like a golden
gotcha.
ring.
Okay.
Oh no, what have I done?
I told Kamali, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if he saw it, but I don't really trust this fella. I don't know. I've been to a lot of towns and a lot of cities, and magicians, sorry, no offense to him, are typically just cash grabbers when they're a man, especially with, that type of personality. Again, if he's just a genuine magician and he is as popular as you say he is, then I am terribly sorry to him, but right now I don't trust him.
Dear Game Master,
Mm-hmm.
can I possibly roll a dice in order to eavesdrop on the both of them?
So how are you eavesdropping on them, might I ask?
Well, okay, so I assume that there's a...
Also, I've said this to them, I should say it to you, do not ask, say, I do. I want to do this, or I'm going to do this. And if you can't do it, I will say, but you can do that. So how are you listening in?
Okay, so after having left the room, Sizdot felt as if something was wrong. So he, although closing the door almost to its fullest, he left a little, almost hard to notice crack, and tried to listen through it.
Okay. I would like for Trevove to make a perception check. So roll a d20 and add your perception to it. And I would also like for Kamali and Kaunar to roll perception to see if they notice the door being a slight ajar.
Oh, great.
Perception. Where's perception?
Oh my gosh!
Perception. So perception, if you go down your skills.
Hey guys, look at my stream.
Oh, I see.
Did you get a 20?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I rolled a 4. I got a total of 8.
Okay. And what did Kaunar get?
Look at my stream.
I'd rather not while recording because I do not want my thing to
He
crap
has
out.
a nat 20. Mark my words. He has a nat 20.
Very good. No, I trust him. I trust my players. I trust them until you give me a reason not to trust you.
Oh,
Trust me,
it's in my skills, right? Oh, there.
Yes,
Wait, no,
in
that's
your
deception.
skills.
Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Oh, perception. Okay, I have plus 4.
Don't worry, the sheet takes time to get used to,
Nova,
but
look
when
at
you
voiceless whispers real quick.
once you start using the skills, you will get used to them.
That's what it looks like.
I have 16 plus 4, which is 20. Perfect.
And do I add my plus perception even though I got a 20?
Yeah, you can if you want. Even though you got a 20, so it's automatic success no matter what the situation is. Usually.
Plus 4, so 24.
So 24. Right. Kamali doesn't notice. Doesn't notice the door ajar. And Trevove, you are able to easily listening. You can hear the entire conversation, like the door, just the door not being closed enough for for the handle to lock in is enough for it to come through. It's a wooden door, and the rooms aren't exactly soundproofed. They're very open, very echoey. But um, but Kalnar, as you are having your conversation, you do take notice. Your ear kind of flicks, and you do take notice that you didn't hear the latch of the door click, meaning that the handle didn't go all the way. You do hear that and notice that. And upon looking over, you do notice that the door is slightly open, and you can see that the light that would be coming through said opening is blocked by something. Possibly someone on the other side of the door.
Trove, having heard all that, he didn't hear what exactly they were mentioning, but he got curious. All the while also
Oh,
being
no,
really...
you hear them. The dice says
Oh.
you heard them very well.
Oh, very well. Well, either way, his dot and his interest rose even more, as well as his disappointment and rather almost anger towards Kelnar and what he said towards Sizdat. After hearing everything, without a second thought, Sizdat makes his way downstairs into the bar to greet the lovely bartender.
Okay.
Exactly my point, Kamale. I think Mr. Travove over here overheard everything we just talked about.
What do you mean?
Look at the
She
door.
looks towards the door. He didn't shut it all the way.
Yeah, she doesn't really notice anything.
No, he didn't shut it all the way. And what normally would have light, that is my phone. What normally...
Was that a fairy? What just
No.
happened? Whoa.
No, no. That
Tinkerbell,
was,
is that
was my
you?
ring system. I think when my parents were home.
That's funny right there.
He continues to tell Kamale, what normally would have light going through that door if it's cracked, did not have any light. So that tells me that someone was there. So I think it's likely to assume that... Hello, phone again, thank you. I think it's likely to assume that we have more of a problem on our hands since he heard of my distrust towards him, and also he heard of your halo.
Well, let's just hope he doesn't use either one against us, because if word gets out about me not looking human, there could be a little more hatred towards me and or something.
Well, on the record, since it's likely to assume that he's not, listening in to us, I would say that if
Well,
he tries
go check
any...
the door.
Kelnar goes over and opens the door to see if he's there.
It's an empty hallway. He's not stood there.
He closes the door and looks at Kamai. As I thought, he's not there. So,
Okay.
if he does try anything towards you, I don't know you that much, but all I can say is he might regret it. He's probably going to regret that. I'm going to make him regret that if he does anything. I don't think he will, but...
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, again, out of character, this is what my character would do. I'm just following
And
what
for
my
once
character
that-
would do.
For once, that statement's actually being
Yes.
used as something that your character would do, and not just an excuse for people to do whatever the hell they want.
It's what my character would do.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, yeah.
But
So-
yes, that's what I tell her. I continue to get ready.
Well, I think we should probably head downstairs. Didn't Mr. Rainbows and Sunshine say that he needed us to meet him somewhere?
Yeah, he did, and I'm assuming he would have come banging on our door if we would have been late, so I think we should probably get a move on.
Mhm.
Is the halo gone down at all?
Rough.
Nope, it's still there.
It's
still
still
there.
there. It is very much still there.
There's no
Alright.
hiding it.
I can speak for you. You can stay here. I can say that you're just taking a little bit longer. I can say that you're doing your womanly stuff to him.
Womanly stuff.
That's all I can say. I won't say any other details just to save you.
Kilnar, you have more fur on your back than I do have hair on my head.
What's your point? I'm confused.
That's a good one.
And also, you do take care of yourself because otherwise your hoofs would be overgrown. So who is doing more self-care here? You or I?
I was just gonna go off the cliche that women take a long time to get ready, but okay. I thought that was a human thing. I guess I could be wrong.
Well, that's where you're wrong because I am not human. Eh?
But they think you are.
Yes.
So...
Well, anyways, you go down there and I'll be down once the halo's gone.
Gotcha. Gelnar grabs his bag and starts heading out the room, then downstairs.
Okay, so you grab all your belongings, so
Yes.
very good. As you head down, as you head downstairs, to the main area, down into the main inn area, you see Trevove by the bar counter, chatting with Mrs. Millard, who is dressed in a very how do I put it? In a very nicely but very finely but still simply decorated kind of white nightgown that covers up her usually curvaceous form, and you can see her usually quite big, massive hair is very bedraggled and frizzy, and she has kind of she has very slight bags under her eyes, and her lips are not yet decorated with rouge or scarlet like they usually would be. You can definitely, both of you can definitely tell that she has only just gotten out of bed.
This is Miss Millard?
Yes, this is Miss Millard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Millard, are you okay?
She looks over to Kalnar, kind of gently cutting off the small kind of chit chat she was having with Trevove, and says, "Oh yeah, yes, I'm all right, dear. I'm sorry you've had to see me without me face on. I'm so sorry, dearie."
Ma'am, it's okay. I'm more just worried you look like you were hit by a boulder last night. Are you sure you're okay?
Oh, I'm fine, dearie. Really. I'm just asking, is dear old Kamali all right?
Yeah, she's okay. She's just taking a second to get ready.
Okay. Just, I heard some noises coming from your room, and I came in to check on her, and she seemed like she was having a mighty fierce nightmare, if you don't mind me saying. A lot of tossing and swaying, if you catch what I mean.
You came into our room.
Oh, only to check on and make sure
everything was all right. Like I said, I heard some noises, dearies, and I didn't want to wake all of you, so I just wanted to creep in and make sure Kamali was okay. You know, not hurt or anything like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have. It was an invasion of
No,
privacy. I was just.
it's okay. I mean, it's your place. This is your place. I mean, just I don't know. It caught me off guard. Is all. Trevove, are you okay this morning?
Trevor glances at Kelnar, once again judging his entire posture, especially
Kelnar.
after heard. What did I say?
I don't know, what did you
Either
say?
way, I think I did say Kelnar. Either
Kelnar
way,
Kelnar looks at as Trevove is doing this. Kelnar looks at Trevove and gives him a glare, hoping to convey the message that he knows he was there listening on their conversation.
Sesdot gives a sly, vaguely apparent smile, with the eyes being rather hostile towards Kelnar, but quickly changing into a positive person that he is. He simply says, "Oh, I am just wonderful. Thank you. I was having a lovely chat with our keeper over here. And, ma'am, please do not listen to him. You look wonderful." Giving a slight wink.
She gives a small smile and she gives a very small smile and kind of smacks the air with her hand and goes, "Oh, you if only I was 50 years younger." And she gives a small giggle, and after a little while she kind of brushes back some of the kind of messy black locks that have kind of drooped forward a bit and says, "It is very early, but before I go back up to bed, is there anything I can get any of you dearies? Some porridge or anything like that?"
Yeah, I'll have some porridge, please, if you don't mind.
Okay, Kalnar, dearie. And for you, Sestot, if you don't mind me calling you Sestot, or Mr. Travove, if I really must. You know what works best for you, dearie?
Sesdot is okay. He slightly bows. As for me, I'll have the same with a glass of milk, please. And if you so have it, could I please get a little piece of cheese for my lovely pet? And as he says that, Chucky Ivan, being Chucky Ivan, just makes his way out, looking at the lady with curious eyes.
As Sestot gives the little bow, she kind of grabs the kind of ankle level of fabric, the fabric of her nightgown at ankle level, and kind of brings up a bit as she gives a little mock bow, being very, trying to mimic the kind of high class lady like, bow that like nobles would do. And she's all nods and of course, but at the request of a bit of cheese, she has a bit of a quizzical look on her face, and as the rat makes itself apparent and known, she kind of, not to say jumps back, she kind of moves back a bit, and you can see that she kind of fights off the usual reaction of wanting to be a bit shocked to see a rat, especially in her line of work. But she quickly kind of steps in and goes, "Oh, I didn't know you had such a lovely pet dearie. I'm assuming the cheese is for your little companion."
Yes, of course. Trevove puts his hand to Ivan as he climbs onto the hand, and almost proudly springs him up, saying, "This is Chucky Ivan. Perhaps you've seen him in one of my performances. He is now a fan favorite."
She gives off a smile that you can tell, though being put on, does have a little bit of sincerity of trying to be nice, and she kind of looks at the rat and she has a little twinge eye and she goes, "Oh, I didn't realize I thought that was something the theatre production gave to you as a prop, dearie. But that's perfectly fine. We're welcoming to all types of customers. Nice to meet you, dearie. I'll go get that porridge and the cheese sorted out and the glass of milk. Yes. And she kind of tiptoes off of her stall, and you see the kind. She goes round, and you see the swinging doors kind of go and kind of swing back and forth. There she goes through into the back room.
Shazat chuckled a little bit before putting Ivan back into his pocket and made his way towards one of the tables, indicating to Kelnar by waving his hand to come follow him.
You can see that all the tables have all had their chairs, instead of the chairs being set out down beside them, the chairs are flipped upside down and resting on the table, but can easily be flipped back onto their legs.
Question. Is it no longer dusk?
For the sake of getting involved, I'm gonna say that the sun's now kind of hot. That just more. It's more than it's still what we would consider sunrise, but it's up enough that yes, your halo has begun to fade and disappear.
All right. I come out of the room finally.
Starting to think maybe it wasn't a good idea to pick that, was it?
It's a character trait. I like it.
I know. Continue.
While Velvet was sitting there and doing your thing, I saw her going like.
So I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No, please
I hate
interrupt.
interrupting.
Please, no, interrupt, guys. Like I've said, if you feel like your character or you need to interrupt because something needs to happen, do it. Do not.
Okay.
I do not mind. It's not you being rude. It's you role playing. You know, if you need to, like, you know.
In that case, Kamali leaves the bedroom with her, what do you call it? Her backpack, her,
Oh yeah, you're taking you're all getting your
Explorer's pack.
belongings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all picking up your bags and belongings. Well, I mean, be careful. They might think you're leaving.
And I prepare to meet downstairs with them if they're still there.
Okay. Yep, they're still there. They're still there.
I walk
All right.
over.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Kamale.
Good morning again.
Good, lovely early morning to you, lady. He bowed.
Thank you. Anyways,
I walk over to the other side of. Yes.
Amadeus would like to see us soon, so once we're done with our snacks and all, we should probably head out there and meet him.
Yeah. I go over to the other side of Trevove, bring down the chair, and move it aside. And just stand there.
I was about to say.
But yes. Actually, how would it look? How would it look to have such a big elk if you were to just sit down, not on a chair, but if he were to sit down right there with his front legs standing him up? Would that be a feasible thing to do?
Yes, but it wouldn't really change
He would
his
still
height. 'Cause
technically
it would
be
just
taller
be his back
than the table.
It would just be his back end going down. So for him
Because
to
your
kind of
human
settle
half
down.
would be taller than the table still. If your back half was laying down, your human half would be at the same height, I think, as someone sitting at a table.
Yeah, the bit where basically your belly or what a human would consider their waist or hips would be at level with the table.
Okay, well then I do that. I sit down.
Okay, got you.
He lies
essentially,
down.
you essentially lie down.
Mhm.
Got you. And what does Kamali do?
by chance did I miss the serving of food? She asked to like everyone in the room. I guess general question.
I just barely caught down, and I didn't get my food yet, so
It's fine.
No, we are still waiting. If anything, you can just simply call her.
No. Don't call her if she's busy, whatever she's doing. By any chance, did y'all notice anyone up in the room last night?
Oh, yeah, she told me she snuck in.
Wow.
She told you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, that's settled then.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I
Uh.
sure hope our belongings are intact.
I think it's fine. I mean, I feel like I'd have a right
As a note, when you lot packed up your things, you didn't notice anything missing. But then again, you did go looking through your bag, so as far as you're aware, your belongings are still there. But you obviously didn't know anything was wrong, so you didn't really go looking through them.
I didn't notice anything was missing from my bag, so I don't know about any of you guys.
None of our stuff should not be missing. So,
Actually, there's something I wanna. No, that's probably none of my business. Never mind. Just waiting for my food.
Trevor was a little bit suspicious of this little comment that Kelnar made, but decided not to push to reveal what he wanted to ask, simply settling down and patiently waiting while having Ivan on the table running around.
So, Trevove, I hear you're a well-known magician in some parts of human cities.
You would now be wrong, and it's not just some part of a city. It's called Smallhaven. A wonderful little place. You should visit sometime. Although, I am not sure as to how people would treat you, being so... You know, Trevove gives a judging look, and frankly feels intimidated by Kelnar's whole physique.
In my
Molly's
travels,
eyebrows narrow.
Kelnar shakes his head at Kamali and looks back at Trevove. I might have actually. I travel a lot. Might have gotten through your town. Can I do a history roll real quick?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You may roll to see if you've either heard of it or been there yourself.
I got a 13.
A 13. You haven't been there, but you do recall hearing of a place, and you recall the reason you heard of it is you do recall people talking about how they were known for having a festival that attracted a lot of magicians and like circus folk and all that. It was basically like a bit of like a carnival day, except it lured in basically talents to kind of come and show themselves off and make a name for themselves.
Now that I think about it, no, I have not been there, but I do think I remember hearing something about a carnival, something that happens there. Am I correct?
Oh, you would not be wrong. We have those almost all the time. People of all kinds gather up to see the grand...
All kinds, you say.
All kinds, I say, Trevove said with a slightly irritated voice, having been interrupted. But as I was saying, yes, there are many people who gather to see wonderful, wonderful scenes, wonderful performances. And as you have mentioned, yes, I am indeed a magician. But not your usual type wielding, a stick with a crystal saying abracadabra, may the bridge fall down. No. As I've said to Kamali yesterday, Sometimes magic is not about trying to fight someone, trying to protect something. It's not to be used as some sort of a force. Sometimes all you need is to make people happy. And that's what I try to do.
How exactly do you make your earnings, if you don't mind me asking?
After thinking for a second, Jerome replied, well, I have my own show business where I perform on pretty often occasions. And there, well, when people gather, well, the more people we have, the larger the audience, the better is payday. It's as simple as that. He let out a slight smile.
Can I do a perception roll?
What are you trying to say?
Out of character, since I already
Mhm,
know
no,
that
that's fine.
he steals, that he steals from the audience members. I already know that. My character is thinking that he might, but he's not
So
sure.
basically, due to the way he worded that response, your Kelnar is a bit like, well, what's that? Is trying to see if there's any. Basically, are you trying to see if Kelnar picks up on like the strange wording of how he said
Yes.
that? Yeah, go ahead. You can roll perception.
Oh.
Ah,
What is it?
Ooh.
It's a 4.
That's a big oof.
It's a 4 with.
what
else?
is your perception?
Yeah, my perception is +4,
it
so
4?
8.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the same perception.
Oh yeah, I got you. So 8. Yeah. Though the wording is a bit weird, Kelnar just assumes that he simply means that obviously the more people come to a show, the more people obviously paying to see his show. Makes sense. Yes, he worded it a bit weird, but nothing wrong with that. He's been wording a lot of things weirdly.
He's still suspicious of you,
Kelnar-
but yes.
Well-
Kelnar will remember that.
Well, Trevove noticed how suspiciously Kelnar is looking at him, and he says, hey, don't give me that look. You just imagine having families, fathers, mothers, children, gathering together as a family to enjoy a show. Isn't that just wonderful? And to bring people happiness, to bring people closer to one another, isn't that what really matters? That's how I use my magic.
Kelnar,
Yes.
you're a book of history pretty much, right?
I guess you can say that, yeah.
If I shape the fire a certain way, can you tell me if, like, something looks familiar to you at all?
I can sure try.
Okay, so Kamali, walks over to the fireplace at the,
The fireplace is
the
not
inn?
lit, by the way, currently. The fireplace is not
Oh,
lit currently.
dear.
There are some logs by the fireplace, and the fire is sadly out. It doesn't have any embers to stir in there, but you do see some fresh logs beside it.
I have a tinder box.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
Can I use that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So I use my tinder box to light the fire and put logs on the fire, and after a few minutes, it starts to, pick up. And
Would you please roll a d20, please?
yay! Sure. I got a 9. Do I add anything to that?
Are you the tinderbox? Does that come in with your pack?
The tinder box is part of the explorer's pack.
And are you proficient with an explorer's pack?
Don't know. How do you tell that?
It should
I
be in
don't
your
think we wrote that
proficiencies.
down.
If it should be in your proficiencies, or wherever you've made notes of proficiency. If you ran out of room.
No, I don't think we wrote it down, or it's not part of it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
The
That's
closest thing I have to that is like artisan's tools and a herbalism kit. So.
I apologize. The
Anyways.
DM needed to sneeze. Okay, so no,
problem.
so you're proficient with arson's tools and a herbalism kit. So no, you don't have to use explorer's pack. Perfectly fine.
Okay.
So you rolled a 9, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You come on, gets our tinderbox and starts trying to light it, and she's having a bit of trouble. She has trouble, and for quite a while she's sat there trying to light it, and she's getting a spark, but just nothing is taking
Why
light,
is
and she's
nothing
just
working?
Trevov stands up and approaches Kamali, while all the while getting his backpack in his hands. So out of character. If I'm not mistaken, I am not. I have in my entertainer's pack, I have 5 candles. Could that possibly help?
yes, if you have something to light them with.
Well, in that case, going back to the row, just approaches.
I have candles. Can they be useful? Yes, if you can light them. Anyways.
That's beautiful. Can we clip that?
That was great.
We need to clip
That
that.
was great.
Actually, I have an idea. Okay, so Doug does approach Kamali, and he gets out 1 candle out of his backpack, saying, "As I've heard, you can control flames. Is that true?"
Yes.
Well, the question is, can you somehow, even in the slightest, summon them? For this, for example, candle, as he whips it out and shows it to her.
I have to light it first, and as you can see, I'm having difficulty with this
I
fire.
have a tinderbox. Let me try it.
Thank you, Kilnar.
Kelnar tries, rolls it. I roll a d20, and I got a 20.
Yep.
Wow!
Hey, let's go.
Connor
That's
comes
so
up
funny.
and
The whole time she's
sails
struggling, Kilnar's just like, boom.
sails on down beside you, and well, since you rolled 20, how do you want to do this, mate? How do you want to do this? How does Kelnar light this?
I stand up. I flick my hand once, and the whole fireplace bursts into a loud flame.
Yep, instantly the kindling lights up, and the charcoal just instantly ignites, and it goes up, and you are all blasted with what at first is quite a nice radiant bit of heat, but the longer you sit in front of the fire, the more it kind of becomes a bit overbearing.
Trevov was surprised over what just happened, so he stepped away because he had candles in his hands.
Kamali just shakes her head and looks at Kilnar and says, "The only reason you lit this fire is because you've had years of practice."
I lit the fire. You wanted the fire. Here's the fire. So what if I have years of practice?
Okay. No. Thank you. I'm just. It took a while. Anyways.
While they do that, Trevov just looks at them from behind, shaking his head, but also giving a slight laughter because he was amused over what happened. A kind-hearted laughter, not laughing at them, but over what happened.
Kelnar looks over at Trevov. What, your eyebrows get singed a little?
Well, I'm afraid my luxurious hair might get a bit of brown in them.
Well, with how much product it seems you put in your hair, soon it'd be burst into flames if anything were to catch.
Oh,
Kamali-
God, I think.
Kamali can't help but laugh out loud.
Well, if the product you're looking for, I might as well share with how much fur you have. Could come in handy.
I think it'd make my fur disappear if I were to try anything. It'd all fall off the next morning.
In the middle of this conversation, Kamali is shaping the fire into a tree with 3 stars above.
All right, so yeah, so you've casted the shape fire spell,
Yes, it is called Control Flames.
control flames.
This
yeah.
is the same spell that made the fire bear that I painted.
Yes,
Nice.
very beautiful, very pretty.
Yes. A beautiful fire bear.
Yes, and before both of you, you see this shape appear in the fire, and you see a very specific shape. You see a tree. You see like a stylized tree with rounded leaves coming off of it, and in the center of the tree, going like up the log of the tree, you see a arrow going up through the middle of the log, and then above the tree you see 3 stylized stars like arranged above it.
Can I
Now,
do a history
would
roll?
yes, yeah, I was going to ask, would
Imagine.
Kelnar and Trevove please make a roll to see if they recognize these symbols? This symbol, I should say.
Okay.
This image.
14.
Also, would Kelnar please roll with advantage?
Okay. How much advantage?
Rolling advantage means you roll the dice 2 times and you take the highest roll.
You rolled
Ah.
2 d20s, so you're gonna roll a d20 twice and take the
Okay,
highest.
15,
So 15
Mm-hmm.
14, so
and-
15.
14. All right, well,
I also have 14.
Okay. And have you added your history to it?
Let me look at my history.
Oh,
You can
don't even have-
you can either add history or insight.
while this is going on, Kamali says, just imagine around it that it's green and gold. Well, mostly
Oh
green,
my God.
like silky. It's lightened in like gold.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know how,
add
but I'm getting
history.
perfect 20s. I'll
Okay.
add insight because I have +6, so I'll have 20 again.
I
Oh,
will
very good.
add insight, which is plus 15, so that'll be 19.
Oh my god,
Okay.
that's not bad.
Okay.
So we both know, basically.
Yes.
We both
Yeah.
know.
I know. I'm trying. Okay. So as
And
you-
Kamali's clueless.
as Kelnar and Sestor both look at the image that is formed within the flames, both your eyes, well, Kelnar's eyes go wide as okay, Sestor, you recognize this from you remember there was a group. You remember there was a military group who had moved into the town of Smallhaven during the fair and was staying there, like holding up for a while before moving on. You remember seeing them carrying a banner with this symbol, and you remember their armor, and you remember specifically they were all of a particular race. But Kelnar's eyes go wide. Almost as big as like the dinner plates within the inn.
No.
As suddenly a flash, instantly enters his memory. You've seen this symbol before, Kelnar. This was the mark upon the banners of those who slaughtered your race.
Oh my god.
This is the banner that was raised and used by the elves who attacked your family and your race. That image has been burnt into your mind. That image has been in your nightmares ever since you were a child. And seeing it now instantly fills you with that same fear that you felt as a child. You had almost forgotten what the feelings you felt that day. You know, they'd been replaced for so many years by anger and despair and hatred, but now you just felt nothing but a deep, horrible feeling. Your pit just fear run through you that then soon is overwhelmed by the hatred you now hold as a man.
Kelnar kicks
are
the
you
fire.
okay?
Kelnar kicks the fire with as much force as he can possibly muster.
Roll strength if you don't mind.
19.
Oh,
And let's
Elk
plus
Centaur.
that. Let's plus that with
The strength.
No.
The strength, yeah.
No.
The strength.
plus 2, which is 21.
Holy cow!
Once again, how would you like to do this?
Kelnar kicks the fire with his front hoof, and the fire bursts into sparks, and wood flies out. Not too much that it burns everyone, but just enough that they feel the heat, and the fire somehow just disperses. It's just nothing but red and coals and shatters of wood afterwards.
Do you retract, or is your hoof still in the fireplace?
No,
or do you retract your hoof?
I retract it,
You-
and then I start heading upstairs, leaving a single track of charcoal black hoof on the wood.
As Kelnar kind of walks away, and if you are watching, when you turn back, you just slowly see the image like slowly fade away as the embers die down, just about the same rate as you hear Kelnar's stomps fade away and muffle as he goes upstairs.
Trevo looks towards Kamali in disbelief, and he asks her, what was all that? Just what was all of this?
I don't know.
Well, what do you mean you don't know? You summoned this tree, which I actually remember. But I'll save this for later. Is this some sort of a calling sign for Kelnar to go berserk? Or I didn't see what's happening.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, what it means. I don't know why I seen it. I thought he would have known, but I guess he does, but I don't know why he would react like that.
Suddenly you hear the doors that lead to the back room suddenly kind of swing up, and you hear, what is going on in here? And you kind of hear from behind the bar, as soon from behind the bar, going underneath the little push open latch on one side of the bar, you see Miss Millard come through into the room, seeing the fireplace in such disarray. She goes, what in my days is going on in here?
I'm so sorry, Miss Miller. We'll clean it up.
Trevov cuts Kamali off and says, I greatly apologize. I wanted to try out my new trick that I wanted to perform here in a few days, but something went wrong. I
A
apologize.
trick?
This is my fault.
Please roll deception for me.
Okay. Oh, please be good.
How are you gonna
It's
hide
sick.
the single hoof print of black charcoal?
Okay, six.
That's part of the
have,
trick.
I have
Well, that's-
6, but hold on. I have 6, but I have
Oh,
deception, right?
yep, deception.
6 plus 5, I have 11.
She kind of puts her hands on her hips and tilts her head to and goes, a trick. And then she slowly follows the trail of Hoofmots going up the stairs, and then slowly follows them leading back and goes,
Miss Millard,
mm-hmm.
Miss Millard,
Yes,
it
dearie?
It was me. I was trying to do something with the fire, and Kelnar got upset. He went upstairs. I'll clean it up. Don't worry. And she gets up and starts cleaning up the floor marks.
She puts her hands up and goes, no, dearie. You're too. Go see to Kelnor, okay? I'll clean up, okay? The porridge is on the cooker. I'll bring you up to your room, okay? And oh, sorry, Kamali dearie, you went down here. Would you like anything for breakfast, dearie? Like porridge or anything like that?
Porridge would be great, but could I also have a tall glass of milk?
Of course, dearie, of course. But go on, go see the counter. I'll clean up, okay? Leave it to me.
All right, thank you. Hey,
Um,
Travove, can you stay down here real quick? And if Amadeus or any of the guards run by, can you come get us and tell us if they're around?
While before all of this, while Kamali was talking to Miss Millard, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It just says that in approval, nodded his head to Kamali asking for some milk. Either way, such said, of course, no problem. Do take your time, but be careful. I don't know what's up with him. We don't need any more casualties, or for the heat to go up. He emphasizes heat, trying to make a pun, but fails utterly. He turns towards Miss Millard and offers his help by saying, well, since I was a part of the scene, I would like to assist.
Don't worry. No one's gonna get hurt, and no, don't clean it up. I'm the one who made the mess. I should be the one to clean it up. As you guys look
Out
over,
of character, I did not know that Kellner was here. Holy crap.
no, he starts walking down the stairs. You start hearing him walking down the stairs
Mm-hmm.
after running off. He walks down and looks over to the both of you and says, I'm sorry. That was I am typically very in control of my emotional state, and that I will explain later what that symbol is. You asked me a question, and I will answer said question. And
Are you okay?
I am now. I cannot say that I was in the moment of seeing that cursed
I'm sorry
thing.
if I upset you.
No. You was not you. You were not aware. Though I am curious on how you found that symbol. I will ask when we are all eating. Miss Millard, this is not the fault of anyone else here. I'm the one who kicked the fire. I think it is fair that I should be the one to clean it up.
She gives a small huff and says, as kind as that is, dearie, it's okay. I will clean it up.
Miss Millard,
I
I insist. I'm the one who made the mess. It is rude of me to not be the one to clean it up. Please.
Says Dot brings his hand up, asking for silence, and then talks to Kelnar. I don't know what happened to you, but I think I know this symbol. Maybe that could possibly help.
Don't worry, I also know the symbol clearly as what is shown here. But yes.
And I've never seen it in my life.
Well then how do you know of the symbol? Kelnar as he keeps talking to Kamale and the others, he starts cleaning it up. He starts cleaning it up. Starts cleaning up
With
all
what?
the embers with his hands, and he quietly asks,
As he starts using his hands, suddenly he suddenly has a broom kind of moved into his face, and you see Mrs. Murcott basically holding the broom out in front of him, saying, If you're gonna do it properly, dearie, please.
Sorry, my lack of having a proper home for these past years has kind of left me without anything to clean with. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Kamali lets out a small giggle.
You see a look upon you saying about not having a proper home. You see a little twinge in her eye of kind of sadness, but she keeps a smile. And she goes, "That's perfectly fine, dearie. I appreciate the help. Thank you. But please use the brush. It's a lot easier.
I
Thank
would
you,
assume.
dearie.
Uh,
Just pop it up by the fireplace when you're done. I best get back to the porridge." And she quickly goes on and moves herself back behind the car. And you once again see the doors to the back room go as she walks through and separates them.
Trevor was, as he heard about Kellner talking about not having a home, at first, Sasdot looked away, made a pretty disappointed face, as if, oh my god, he is so petty. But then, suddenly having remembered something from the far, far past, he caught a feeling of sadness and grief almost. But he did not let that distract him. So he turned back to Kelnar and said, well, can I also be of assistance?
If you would like to, sure. If let's try to keep this under the down low so that Mr. Armadeus doesn't get upset with me for causing quote unquote trouble again. So yes, let's quickly clean this up before.
Oh, please, it's fine.
Forget him, okay? Like, it's not your fault anyway.
Guys, it's
mine.
all about authority. He knows well that I am a very well-established magician. Let's just say that I just tried something that was not so successful. He'll understand. Don't worry about it.
Even if he probably won't figure it out in the first place if we clean this up quickly.
Alright,
Just
well,
in case.
I'm gonna clean up these logs. And she heads over to the fireplace.
Yeah, it doesn't take you long to just simply sweep up the embers and get everything back in place. And though like in between the gaps of the wood floors, there's a few kind of black streaks here and there. It's very quickly you soon off get it to looking relatively clean again.
As we are cleaning it up, Kelnar looks over at Kamali and asks, "What did you want to know of that symbol, and why did you even know about it in the first place? If you don't mind me asking."
She looks around, making sure no one else will hear her other than Kelnar.
He's with
And
us
then
too, by the way.
Yes, out of character, I am here with you.
Uh-oh.
Don't forget that. And I did tell you that I recognize the symbol.
Well, it's not about the symbol.
Well,
She whispers to the best of her ability to Kelnar. The same with the halo. I also have visions at night. Some nights. And that's something I saw in the vision. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what I was hoping you would allow. I know you are smart. And I don't know how he would know if you know, because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Kelnar takes a step back, having a look of concern and almost as if he's stuck in his thoughts for a few moments. He then looks.
Would Trevor please roll a perception?
I was
please?
about to ask just that.
I just wanted.
Before he
what she said
does,
to be. Yes.
I just did. Too late.
Okay.
I got 10.
Well, go on. Say what you need to say, and then we'll hear the results. See if he overhears this.
he looks over to Trevov and says, "You said you know what this symbol is?"
Oh, okay. Out of character, 14. I already added the thing, so I just have 14.
Okay. I'll consider the fact you stood right behind them. You're able to catch what they're saying. It's not really that hard, but continuing on.
Okay. Just out of character also, what exactly is the meaning behind this symbol since we know? I can assume that it's dealing with the elves, but what exactly is it?
Yes.
Okay. Due to Sestot only kind of relaying it to being something that was carried by an elvish military group that had moved into his town during obviously a celebration, you know, a carnival, and then staying there for a bit and then moving on. He doesn't really know much about that, so he just knows it's related to elves, and he saw it on a banner and stuff like that. You, due to how long ago you saw and due to how your memories are a bit fuzzy about then, you yourself do not know anything about. You've seen it once or twice, maybe more, on tattered banners from old Balfours, but you've never been able to discern what it means. You just know that it is carried by quite a lot of elvish military groups, usually on banners and sometimes even emblazoned upon tunics and uniforms.
And I know of the symbol because of,
Your
they-
backstory,
yes.
Yes, of your backstory.
Can I prepare a history roll to know, like, how much time ago Sesdot saw this symbol in his hometown?
Yeah, sure, go on. Roll for that. Might as well roll for that.
7.
7. You know what? Let's just make that a straight roll. Since it's 7, we'll say that you saw that those elves moved into that. You saw those elves moved into there about 7 years ago. This happened about 7 years ago. You saw this military group of elves kind of move into the town, settle there for a bit, you know, take kind of respite, and then march off somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Within that time, they basically mingled with the crowd. You know, they basically were just settling there, you know, recuperating for a bit, and then they were off again to wherever they were meant to go. You know, they didn't make a ruckus, they didn't make any trouble. Obviously, a lot of eyes were on them, but they kind of also blended in a bit with the fact that it was a carnival celebration. There were lots of different people there. It really wasn't odd to see elves there. The strange thing about them was just them being military, that's all.
I see. So, having heard Kelnar's question, Sesdot just quickly replied, "This was quite a few years ago, but I remember this as today because such sights you do not forget. Might as well tell you later."
Well, I wanted to ask you both. Does anyone here know the history of my people at all? I know it hasn't really been
And
spoken
we
of.
talked about
History
it.
roll, let's go.
You two,
I've got-
make your rolls.
My favorite number 11.
Okay. Please add your history. We'll make this history. I was going to say inside, but don't make it history.
12.
You should have went with
I have 12
inside.
then.
You should have went with inside.
You should have went
Well,
with inside.
Well, it's history technically.
Okay,
For a lot of people, it's
straight
considered
11.
history.
I see
So
that.
11 and what did Love get?
I have 12.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, Kamali got 11, you got 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You both know, you both have heard a little bit about how you know things between the elves and the centaur race. Haven't exactly been smooth, but you've basically all you know is that they don't like each other. They don't agree with it. They don't like each other. They have some, but you aren't aware of the history of it.
Is anyone...
The only time I've ever heard you speak about that is whenever you were talking to those guys at the camp, and you seemed very upset.
Sister intervenes and says, uh, I've heard bits, but once again, I don't know much. Is it something between your people and the great almighty elves?
Yes. Have you two ever seen another one of my kind? Specifically, not just a centaur, a elk centaur.
Kamali
The
immediately
answer is
shakes
no.
her head no.
Go.
I have seen many weird sights in my life, but once again, there have only been humans. Almost.
I've only seen other centaurs, but not of your subspecies.
I'm assuming you overheard her whispering to me. It's okay. You don't need to lie. Trevove.
I'll be honest,
Kamali looks at
I did
Trevove.
hear, but I did not even try to eavesdrop. You were just a little bit too close.
It's alright. I assumed you did. The reason why her vision is so concerning to me, and the reason why at that moment, when I kind of went off on those men, was significant, was because there's a reason why so far you two have only seen me around. And the reason why no one talks about my kind, or you never see
You're
them.
the last of your kind.
As far as I know, I'm the last of the elk centaurs. And you know who the can't believe I'd be reliving this. Can't believe I'd be thinking about this, talking about the damn elves coming here. The elves were the ones who wiped out everything that I knew. All that I knew, all my people, as far as I know, I'm the last of my kind because they wiped us out.
But why would they do that?
I don't know. It could have been land, resources, maybe some leaders decided, oh, I don't like you for some reason. Maybe my species made a war against the elves, maybe the elves did a war against us. I don't know. As far as I know, the history between that war, the war between my species and them, has been wiped out. I go to libraries on towns and cities, try to find anything I can about wars between the elves and anything else, anyone else. All I see is the war between the humans and the elves. And as everyone knows, that's the only war that I see. That's the only war that's talked about. I see petty skirmishes every now and then, but nothing. The war between my people.
Excuse me. You say war between humans and elves?
Yes.
Well, dare I say, I might as well share my share with what I know. This was around, if I'm not mistaken, 7 years ago, back at Little Haven. The reason why I organized this symbol in the first place was that back when I was younger, I did see the banner appear in my hometown. And not just the banner, but almost military, armored elves. Scooping
7
around.
years ago?
7 years ago.
That
But
can't
the
be
thing is-
right.
But
Doesn't
the thing is, as you may say that there is a war between elves and humans, it did not feel that way. Because they were just there. There was no massacre, no rockets, no fighting. They were there for some time, quietly, Obviously, they were marching around with their banner, and just as quickly as they came, I assume they left. I have not seen them since.
That symbol.
This was 7 years ago.
That symbol has been burned into my memory. I try to push it out. That symbol was the banner that they wore when they came in. Just did what they did. So, I'm sorry for kicking the fire and almost giving everyone
Kamali
first-degree
immediately
burns.
runs over and like hugs Kelnar.
It's literally been 100 years since that. Obviously, my emotions are still here, but for the most part, I've gotten over it. My hatred for the elves has not. So, as you can tell.
Kelnar, I'm so sorry.
I know Arthur may have been rough, but I do sympathize, and I'm sorry to hear.
Oh.
Wherever we may be next time, maybe a bar or something else, it'll be on me.
Well, thank you. It is what it is at this point. There's nothing much I can do about what happened in the past. I try to focus on finding everything I can about history, and like Kamali said, I basically am a living history book. I try to live as much as I can, talk to people. It helps me feel less lonely. But moving back to the discussion of the fact that you had a vision of that.
It's because I'm like you. I'm the only one of my kind, and I have never met anybody who has the same exact stuff I do. And that's probably why we get along so well, is because we have no body.
I wish I could relate to you. But still, if you ever need a shoulder to cry on, I'll be here. As Trevor says that, his stone, when he mentioned the part of not having the same experience, his stone broke, which could indicate, well, who knows, many things.
He looks over. Oh, go ahead.
His stone.
His
His
tone.
his tone.
Oh, his tone. Sorry, sorry. I thought you said stone. I thought your
No.
tone. Understood.
His stone, yes. He has a big, like, tiki band stone next to him, and it just crumbled
I
to the ground.
apologize. I apologize. That's my hearing. I apologize.
He says,
It's up to your
ta-da!
tone. It's my accent. Don't worry about that.
No, I apologize. Your tone changes. Continue, please.
I look over at Kamali and say, "This vision you had, do you remember anything else in it at all?"
She closes her eyes and thinks really hard, and she then looks up and says, I don't remember anything else. Something about a red wolf. That's about it.
A red wolf?
Yeah.
Can I do a
Does
history
that have
roll real
something
quick
to do and
to see if if that's in any significance to anything at all?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you
Never mind.
A 9.
9. No, you've not heard any reference or anything about a red wolf. You've heard stories that involve, like, you know, a red wolf as being like a sign of like either good or bad omens depending on what culture it is, and having different allegorical meanings, but nothing that would relate to the banner.
May I try?
If you want to, go ahead.
Forget it. Just never mind, guys.
No, what'd you roll? What'd you roll?
I got a 3.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, you've never heard of anything to do with a red wolf.
Well, in this case, Cessna just says, well, at least I've seen many colored circus animals, but nothing too special.
I've heard stories about red wolves being a symbol of good or evil, but in all my searching of any kind of history, I haven't heard anything of any significance, major significance, of a red wolf. Out of character, how is our food doing?
It's
Oh.
ready, by the way. Miss Millard mentioned it. It's ready. It's probably very cold right now.
Okay. Give me a moment. I just need to do something quickly.
Sorry, I'm the cause of this.
No, it's fine.
It's okay.
No shame on you. Oh. How dare you have a halo? That means nothing to us, I guess.
How dare I have a halo? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Or how dare you have a chunky Ivan?
First of all, it's not chunky, it's chalky, like chocolate. Second of
I'm
all, it's a
sorry.
rat. Third of all, rats are cute.
Gotta love
And
Chunky
he is quite
Ivan.
fat too.
It's he,
Chunky.
Chunky. Chunky
I
Ivan.
like them big.
Chalky,
I
it's
like 'em
chalky,
chunky.
chalky
I like
Ivan,
'em
chalky.
big.
He's like brownish gray.
He's chunky.
Chalky,
Didn't
chalky
we-
Irish.
Wait,
Look, guys,
weren't you
check,
asking
check
me
on
the
chat.
name a rat? Like you rat names, and we came up with like Smoky Mountain Fudge or something like that. Is that what we came up
Yes,
with?
because you were eating a chocolate ice cream,
Yeah.
and that's
then we
why I
decided
named him
on
Chalky, because chocolate.
There we go.
I remember
Fixed
that.
it, hopefully.
Okay.
What'd you fix?
Thank you. He sent me something, but anyways, I'm ready.
All I will say is when I give you details about something, a little pro tip as a player: take notes, because I know that it's easy to get caught and
Yeah.
forget things. Just little pro tip there: make sure you take notes, whether it's on a bit of paper or in a notepad. Just make sure you take notes.
So,
Can
Trevor-
Kamali...
Huh?
Actually, no. Kamali sits down and starts meditating, focusing on her dream she had.
Trevov goes back to the table where Chunky Ivan was. Well, obviously, when the flame incident happened, Chunky Ivan was scared, but now he is sleeping. So Dot just approached the table, just very, very gently picked up his rat, put it back in the pocket, and approached the other two, asking, well, what now?
Kamali's still very focused on her meditating.
Kelnar looks over at Trevov, says, well, technically we still have a job we're supposed to do. And we were supposed to meet with Armadeus. Actually, shouldn't he have come to us? Kelnar looks over at Kamali and sees that she's focusing. Looks back at Trevov. Should he have come to us, if you remember?
Dear Dungeon Master, can I roll for...
I'll just tell you right now. He didn't. He just simply last night. He just simply said to you that he would see you tomorrow.
Well, after seeing him, he did tell me that he would see us, all of us, today. Well, and as of now, since there's nothing happening, and clearly he nods at Kamali, this is happening. Don't mind me. Trevove makes his way towards the counter with the food, grabs his plate,
The
his glass
food
of
is
milk.
not out yet.
I thought you told me that it was there.
No.
Nope, he
In
never
this
said
case,
that.
Nope.
Trevove just went there waiting patiently for the food to arrive.
Molly looks up, her eyes still closed, and she says, I remember the rest
I
of the
spilled my
dream.
water.
Good job, honey.
Thank you.
Clean up the water! Don't let it get on
It's
your...
fine. Continue.
Okay, anyways.
Yes.
Molly looks up. I don't know if I can stop smiling now. It's great. Molly looks up, her eyes still closed, and she says, I remember the dream. I heard the sound of hoofs just charging. They were like horse hoofs. And then I saw the banner with the symbol on it, and there was like a blue sky. It was so blue, so clear. And then I saw fire just taking over everything. The land, the sky. It was just fire. But then it was drowned out by sounded like a child screaming and wailing and crying. And the only thing that wasn't affected was that banner.
Says Dot, raises his eyebrow, asking, is there anything else?
Red Wolf.
What about this red wolf?
At that moment, you hear the doors from the back room opening, and you see from behind the counter like a ball kind of bouncing along with two others kind of just being bounced along the kind of surface of the from behind the counter, and you hear, "I'm so sorry, dearies. I had to start the fire of the oven all by myself because my lazy husband is still in bed. I'm so sorry. Here it is." And you see as she kind of comes round and under the little opening hatch of the bar, she crouches right down, her bum nearly, touching the floor as she expertly lowers herself enough to walk underneath. And you see she has one bowl of porridge with a wooden spoon in it in one hand and the same in another hand, and on top of her head she has 2 glasses of milk piled up on top of her head with then another porridge balance, and she's balancing it perfectly. And she comes along, she sets one down. "Here you go, Kelnar," and then she sets the other one on. "That's for you, Kamali." And then she gently kind of leans forward, and like a circus trick, the ball drops down perfectly in between Kamali and Kelnar's, and then she kind of like nudges her head up, and she catches the 2 glasses and then sets them down and says, and that milk is for you, Kamali, darling." And she looks around and goes, "Oh, there you are, Trevove. That milk and that porridge is for you, dear. And oh," and you see she takes out takes out from her palm a very small kind of little wedge of cheese, and kind of slowly slides that onto the wooden tabletop and says, "And that is for your little friend." She then kind of looks around all your face and goes, "Sorry, did I come in at a bad time?"
No. No, everything's okay. Thank you.
No.
Trevove
You came in at the
looks
right time.
at
I needed some milk.
Mrs. Millard with eyes full of excitement, happiness, and surprise with a giant grin on his face. He was so impressed by what just happened. And without even replying to her question, he yells, "That was amazing!" and applauds.
She looks at Sestot and she kind of gives a bit of confusion and says, "What was amazing, dearie?"
Sestot looks at the other two thinking, or rather, like, whispering, "Does this happen here all the time?"
Yes,
then he looks-
Miss Millard is talented in that.
The skill of a
He looks-
bartender, my dear friend, is unmatched by all other of the food workers in mankind.
Sestot looks back at Miss Millard, and he gracefully bows to his fullest, thanking her for such a delightful show.
Her cheeks go a little bit rosy at his bow, and she goes, "Oh, please don't bow, dearie. It really wasn't nothing special. I've seen plenty of barmaids and innkeepers do stuff like that in my time. Really, dearie. It's nothing to make a fuss about. Certainly nothing to go telling anyone else about. I hope you all enjoy your breakfast. I'm gonna go upstairs and get my husband out of bed. I will hopefully see you all soon. Good morning, dearies, and bye-bye." And she kind of soon enough she kind of makes her way over to the stairs and climbs up the stairs and soon enough is out of sight.
Kelnar walks up to Trevove and puts his hand on his shoulder. It's like a hard, firm grip and says, "Great! You embarrassed our bartender. Good job."
Kamali stands up and goes and sits down at the bar and begins to eat her porridge and drink her milk.
Yes, the porridge is is nice and warm, and as you actually eat the porridge, you can taste that it's actually it's a lovely blend of the kind of smoky oakiness of the oats of the porridge, along with you can taste a little bit of sweetness, and as you kind of move your spoon around, you notice little bits of what you see to be honey mixed in with the oats of the porridge. And the milk. As you drink the milk, you can taste that it's you can kind of tell what as you drink the milk, you finally realize why it's called the Mooing Mare Inn. It's you swear it is the purest milk you've ever tasted. Not too cold, not too warm, just that perfect room temperature.
Out of
so
character,
it's nice.
I really just want to go get a glass of milk now.
I think Velvet over here beat us to it, though. Though you finished it, sadly.
I am out of milk.
Lucky.
I'm so sad.
I moved to
Guys.
sit... Huh?
Kamali says, "Guys, you gotta try this. This is really good."
Kelnar
Guys,
goes...
come over here. Check out this cool porridge.
Kelnar moves to sit down. At the same plot spot where he moved away the other stool.
Mm-hmm.
Sits down and goes to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as it is an amazing mixture of the oats and that little bit of sweetness in there, and it invigorates you. You know, as you eat, it kind of invigorates you, gets you feel ready for the oncoming day.
Question: how big are the tables?
The tables are a reasonable size. They are enough to seat at least 4 people around it. With each set of chairs facing each other.
Kelnar does a deep sigh as he finishes the first bite and says, "This is something alcohol will never beat. This will give you that sense of invigoration that alcohol will never be able to fully give." This is the benefit of mankind's expert food making. So good.
Can't drink
Trevo
alcohol.
was patiently waiting for Kellner to finish. He reluctantly approached and very reluctantly sat near the other two, putting his foot down and also releasing Ivan on his knees while also putting a little piece of cheese there as well. As much as he prefers seeing his rat on the table, he did think of others' comfort and therefore he had to resort to the first option. Well, as nobody had any manners to wait for me, bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
And
I think we just sit
Trevo
there and eat.
takes sides.
Yep.
Nom, nom, nom.
Trevo
Yep,
eats and has the same reaction.
Yep. Do you want to talk or do anything else with it, or shall we just skip on along to?
Kelnar is a silent eater.
Yes. Fair enough.
Same.
You all just kind of sit and enjoy your food, and within the time that you eat your food, you saw saw Miss Millard and her husband come downstairs, and her husband, you finally get a look and you see that he is a very, to say large would be perhaps an insult to the bulk of this. So, surprising enough to you, not a halfling, but a dwarf. You see this this bald-headed dwarf with, and along his bald head, you see tattoos written in a language. Does anyone know Dwarfish, by the way?
No.
How do we see that?
No.
It should be where your proficiencies and all that are basically
It
like
says
languages.
other proficiencies and languages. It's on your first page, down bottom left.
Very good.
He just knows common and Sylvan, Elvish.
Yeah, got you. Yes,
That's all he knows. So no, he does not.
that's fine. No.
Which is funny, considering my character is a history keeper. You think he would have
Yeah,
been
why would he
practicing.
even know Elvish in the first place, honey?
Well, he wants to know the history of all Elvish people, so he would have learned Elvish in the 100 years. But yes,
Old fart.
Yes. And what about our dear Trevove? Does he know any Dwarfish, or is he?
As I've said,
No.
no, he does
No,
not.
he doesn't.
what
Right.
languages
So
does he
you
know?
see- You don't have to
Why
share
would I-
that if
why
you don't
would I-
want to.
Yeah, why would I
don't-
tell you that?
You don't have to share it if you don't want to. It's up to you to share your mechanics and your stats. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's just at your own will.
I'm showing it all to everyone, so
Well, yeah, you're showing it to everyone on stream, and I would hope that no one here would go look at our stream until after the session is done, at least. But anyways, but yeah, along the dwarf's bald head, you see tattoos in a dark kind of you can see the black ink has kind of turned blue over the years, and the red ink has kind of gone more like an orange. As you see these kind of these kind of runes going along his head, on like the side of his head, and he has a very long, well-kept beard with some nice braids. With some nice braids coming down, going from where his mustache starts all the way down to the very tips of his beard, and you can see that they're both dressed in you can see they're both finely dressed in very presentable clothing. Miss Millard being dressed in in her usual attire with a nice corset and her nice big fluffy billowing shirt and a little skirt, and her husband dressed in. Well, the only thing I can really compare it to is basically very heavily stained and used chef's clothing. The only thing he is minus is the big chef hat that you might see, even fitted out with like a little apron that has goodness knows how many stains from many past meals and spills. And as they both come down, she gives a little wave. Her face now made up with a little bit of rouge and a tiny touch of blush and a little bit of eyeliner. And she says, "Good morning, dearies. Oh, I see you're really enjoying your breakfast." And she walks on through, and as the husband kind of finally sees you lot, he kind of stops, looks round with his very dark brown eyes, and you can see very deep wrinkles in his face and very deep crow's feet sunk into his eyes. He looks round and just kind of nods his head and goes, he kind of just nods his head and goes, and then continues to walk on through following his wife.
Kamali gives a slight wave and goes back to eating.
Dwarvish people. One of the people that I've never really been able to fully understand.
Oh, don't even try. It'll get even more
Do you
confused
have
than you were
hatred
before.
for them too?
Pardon?
I was just wondering, do you also have hatred towards them too?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm just
I
making
think-
sure.
I think that the only people that I would have hatred for are the ones that have wiped my people out. They did
Okay.
nothing. I mean, I did have a quarrel with a dwarf. It was a little bit of a bar fight, but it was just that one dwarf. I don't hold all of them accountable. Even with elves, I don't hold
What
all
was
of them
it?
accountable.
What even was that over?
Oh.
Was it drinking or
No, let's just say I was admiring the gold attire of the pins, and me being the little bit of a historian I am, I saw the symbols on it and thought I would try to see if I recognized anything. He, being the drunken dwarf he was, thought it'd be a good idea to accuse me of stealing, even though all I was doing was looking at the gold around him. And I was just sitting here defending myself, being like, "Oh no, I wasn't. I was just looking at your fancy clothing here." And
Oh my
he, in the drunken mess he was, socked me in the face. Let's just say I came out of that with a broken nose, and he came out of that with multiple bruises and possible broken 2 ribs, I think. Yeah. Let's just say I try to diffuse things with words before I fight. If you throw the first punch, I make sure you don't want to fight me ever again.
I mean, that seems fair.
Yeah. But, yeah, I have nothing against dwarves. In fact, I kind of want to learn more about them. Just,
Wait, what time is it?
Kelnar looks at the sun. Out the window.
Looking out the windows, you can now see that it's now daylight, and it finally comes to your attention that there are people outside. You can see people kind of coming out, and just like the day before, same routine. People setting up their
They're setting up. They're setting up, so that means we're fine. We're fine. They're setting up. They're not.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, you're sorry. Okay. I'm
Please
gonna
tell
cut
me
this
Mr.
out.
Smiles is not gonna
I'm gonna
murder-
I'm gonna cut this out of the recording. But can you please not do that? Because when you start throwing hand gestures at me, I get worried that I'm doing something wrong. And
No,
I
she
can't
was
give
talking to me. She was talking to me. She
I
was
was
like,
talking
like
to
Mr. Smiles. Oh no,
Oh.
crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Please be aware I can't tell. So when you're doing that, I was like, am I forgetting something about someone's character?
No.
No, if I needed to talk to you, I would be like this. I'd be like,
I was like,
Calm.
I'll be honest, for a second I thought you were trying to gesture werewolf. I was like, what, is someone a werewolf now? What? You
More like
delete that, I
werewolf
didn't.
or something.
I didn't just smile. I
Please
thought
don't
you would-
delete this. Please don't delete this part.
Hey, it
No,
won't
God.
be. It'll be on my stream.
It'll be on
Yay!
But I'll be honest, when you were trying to gesture to me a smile, I thought you were gesturing fangs. I was like, fangs. Anyways,
question.
sorry. Yes.
Does my guy know about Mr.
Question.
Smiles at all?
No, you only ran into him yesterday when he greeted you at the front gate.
Thank you.
Well, I say greeted you.
Mr. Smiles.
He
Like, how
came.
does he even go like by Amadeus?
Yeah, you are just call him Mr. Anyways.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry, Mr. Barlow. What? How dare you? Anyways.
Anyways. What was I saying? Yes. Looking out the window, you can see that it is now bright daylight, and you can see there are people outside. People are same as the day before. They are going about the routine of setting up their stalls and getting ready and going about the day, doing their daily chores and going about the same routine. I would say it is now about 6 or 7, about 7 or 8 a.m. in modern time.
Okay.
I think once we're done with this, we should head out.
I'm finished with my food, so I'm ready to head out whenever you
Let's
two.
not
I
keep
mean,
others waiting.
all I gotta do is
Yes.
finish this mug of milk. And she just like full on chugs the milk.
Ah, don't throw it.
Roll Constitution, please. Roll a Constitution check,
Oh no,
please.
you're gonna splatter it all over your mouth.
I'm gonna die from milk inhalation. Oh.
Just don't roll a 1.
18 with Constitution?
Yep, Constitution.
Ah, come
That
on.
is a total of 18.
Death
Okay.
by milk.
Yep. She okay. You pick up the glass. She picks up the glass and in like about 5 glugs, the glass is gone. She places it back down the table.
She wipes her mouth with the back of her hand, sets down the cup, and is like, "Alright, let's go!" Just like starts heading toward the door.
Kelenar gives a concerned look to Trevove, like, what the hell?
Sesdot slowly looks at Kelnar and then looks back at Kamali with a very, very concerned look. And thinking to himself, oh my god, I'm scared.
Are you sure you're not a drinker, Kamali?
That's how we do it in the Feywild.
What? I'm a Fae myself. I've never seen that before.
What are you talking about?
Okay, well, let's waste no business here. Let's get on out.
As you
As Trevove was standing up, he just silently whispered to Kamali, "Don't throw the glass!"
He said, "Don't throw the glass."
I know what he said. I already set down the glass before I left.
yeah.
Okay, so we walk out the door. Yes.
Yes. As you're walking out the door, Mrs. Miller kind of gives a little goodbye, saying goodbye, dearie, stay safe, gives you a little wave off, and as you go out the door, you are once again you can see people kind of moving about, kind of going about their day routine. Some of them kind of looking over to you and giving kind of just looks of like, oh, yep, there you are again, and. A few people kind of look and give little nods, just kind of acknowledging you and attempting a bit of friendliness. And once again, in the square, you see standing proudly is the large wooden structure with a large frame going above it that you all recognize. You all recognize as being a gallows.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
right.
You recognize it. Yeah, you recognize it as being a gallows. One thing, though, that you have taken notice of today, that you could have sworn wasn't there when you had walked past it the day before. You see a set of 3 nooses tied up ready along the top bar. They are currently vacant and empty, but
Oh,
3 exact
no.
ones.
Oh no. Kelnar looks over at Kamale. Do you see that?
And she looks up. She was thinking to herself about her vision and goes, "What?
Kamale, look over there.
What?" And she looks. What does she see?
She
The 3
sees
nooses.
the same thing. The 3 she sees upon the wooden structure that before she had mistaken as just maybe being like a stand for when making announcements. She sees along that top bar are now, as I said before, 3 readied nooses and perfectly tied 3 nooses, standing vacant but ready.
Trevor
think that's
looks
for-
up at Kelnar. Yeah, he gets a little shiver, and he whispers, I hope it's not for us.
No, it's not for us.
But
Hopefully
Kamale,
not.
yeah, I think it's for who we both think it is.
But I thought they, you know.
I'm assuming they did. I mean, it's just morning, so I don't think they went out after them. You don't think they saw you go?
I hope I didn't. I would never
Okay.
forgive myself.
I think it might be a good idea to somehow find a chance to go out and check on them, see if they're gone.
We can't ask Amadeus to go patrol the walls. That'd be too obvious.
I know, that's why I said
And
something.
plus,
Guys,
Straw Hat
what's going
is still
on?
missing.
Trevove, there might be an execution for some unfair judgment of people that we're trying to help. We think that those nooses might be for some people we were trying to help in an unfair execution. That damn Armadeus is not
Okay,
keeping his
calm down.
word.
Just let's think logically. If we help those, and he makes air quotes, unjustly accused people, will we get in trouble?
Most certainly.
Are we allowed
Then-
to destroy the gallows, or do you think that would cause more of a issue?
We'd be kicked out, and
People, let's not get targets on our backs. Plus, I just arrived.
yeah, if we do anything,
has
you
a
don't have
point.
to. Would we really be able to do anything if they catch them and do that?
I mean, I can think of a couple ways we could, but it would involve a lot of fighting and blood and not really,
Guys,
you know.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think I have an idea. Trevov takes his backpack in his hands and pulls out a little something. A little sack of powder, which is nothing else than a smoke grenade.
Does Kelnar recognize it?
No, none of you recognize it. All you see is basically him holding a big. What you recognize is blackened lead, kind of like the same thing that you've seen on human cannons. It's made out of the same material you've seen human cannons made out of, with a wick, like the cannons you've seen have with a wick coming out of it. And it
Crushed
looks.
coal.
It basically looks like someone's taken a cannonball, squished it down, put a wick in it.
essentially.
What is crushed coal gonna do? What?
What is
Are you
that?
gonna try to make an
It's not.
explosive?
No, jeez, I'm not a killer. He chuckles. This is a smoke grenade. I mean, we could pull something off. A
Okay.
little surprise.
If this is
Not
for
a
who I think it is, if this is anyone else, obviously we're not in any business related to anyone else. But if this is the people that we think it is, if you're willing to help us, it's just if you do this, if they find out, Kelnar looks around and see if anyone is nearby could possibly hear us.
No, everyone's
Molly
kind
does
of just
the
going.
same.
Everyone's just going about their business. No one's really listening in.
Okay.
To be honest, or taking any notice of you lot, as per the usual.
Okay.
Kelnar
Out of
leans
character.
into.
While
Oh,
Kelnar's telling Trevove this, Kamali's still on the lookout, just looking around.
Okay.
Kelnar looks at Trevove and leans in and says, if you do this, if this for who we think it is, you barely know us. For all we know, for all you know, you might think that this is justified. Are you sure you'd be willing to help us after just barely getting here? Not even knowing what your mission for why you came here in the first place. Are you sure you want to do that?
Out of character. Game Master. Do we have our weapons with us?
Yep, you have everything. If
I
you,
do.
you
Yeah,
all
I-
said
I-
as long as you all said you said you picked up all your belongings with your bag and all that. If that's what you all said. We agreed.
Yes.
I know
So that
I
means
did.
everything in your inventory, everything on your character sheet, you are carrying with you at this current time. You all have your bags. That's one thing I'm very aware of, is that unless you say that you picked up everything or picked up a specific thing, then you haven't. You've left point. But you said you picked up all your bags, and I'm assuming you all said you basically picked everything and specifically picked up your bags, so you have everything on you.
Yes.
Precisely so. So, yet again, feeling really intimidated by Kelnar, Trevove holds his stance, does not step back, and says, well, an honest person needs to earn someone's trust, now doesn't he? Well, once again, showing right to Kelnar's face this little smoke bomb he has.
Okay. Put that thing away. Again, this is only if. Kelnar looks at Kamale. You see anyone?
Kamali looks around to check to see if they are still good and making sure no
No
one else is
one-
around to hear
No
or
one,
see.
yep, no one is around. No one is around, but Kamali does spot coming from the, if I'm thinking correctly, yes, coming from the northeast, from the direction of the Longhouse. If you're looking at the map, coming down the pathway, you see Sir Amadeus with more guards coming down. You recognise this the same as yesterday. These are probably the daytime guards coming to replace the nighttime guards.
I would hurry if I were you. I see him and his.
You see your microphone cut out. What?
Kamali says, I would hurry up and tell him if I were you. I see him coming down with his guards from the Longhouse.
Okay. Gist of things is that these men did not have anything to do. They had nowhere to live, and they used a goblin to just steal some supplies from here, because if they were to try to come in, they would probably get rejected out. And so we tried to help them after he sent us to go try to find whoever was stealing them. And after finding their full story, we decided to help them and try to find a way to get them in to live here so they didn't have to steal. And Amadeus did not keep his word after I kept my side of the word and told him that
He's
we found-
halfway.
Thank you. After we found out who that was, he did his word and said that he would try to find a way to have them here. or give them their just. And obviously that's what he thinks is just. And he did not keep his word. Right, now you know the
Sure.
gist. Mr. Dungeon Master?
Yep. Give me a second. So I just fixing something.
Smells like sunshine and rainbows again.
Soon enough, coming along by you, you see Amadeus with the rest of the guard, and as he's coming along, you see once again he has his big great sword resting on his shoulder as he marches along, and soon enough he suddenly calls them to a halt, and they all halt in place and give a loud stomp, all their leather boots kind of stomping into the mud. And then he turns round, seeing you three, and once again walks over and kind of plants his walks over and plants his sword in the ground. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my players are making me laugh. I'm sorry, my...
It was happening!
What? What's happening? What is happening?
I'm very...
Hey, Dungeon Master.
So sorry for the technical difficulties. We're experiencing a lot of technical difficulties today. We're experiencing a lot of hiccups today, aren't we?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Anyways. And people wonder why it takes months after these sessions have been recorded for them to come out. Anyways. Well, we're going to edit that out. Anyways. Yes, you see him come along and he stops in place. You see him call everyone to a halt. Blah, 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 blah. And then he turns around and begins, seeing you two, he begins to walk over with his great sword rested on his shoulder. And as he comes to a halt, he once again plants on the ground and then kind of rests one arm on the crossguard of it. And he looks at you two and says, "Right then, I'm glad to see you three up and early. Maybe you would be so happy to join us for the roll call this morning, if it isn't too much of a trouble, of course."
Sure. Kelnar starts walking over.
Kamali follows behind him.
Trevor doesn't say anything, but he quickly hides one of those bombs in his back pocket.
Make a sleight of hand check, please.
Bruh, I
God.
had you try to put it away before he even came! Oh my
Oh, I'm
gosh.
sorry. Okay, so
Oh my gosh, no!
Okay, sleight of hand plus. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna tell you that I'm getting perfect 20s thanks to the roll and plus something. I have a 20.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Yep.
Ah,
Thank God.
Thank
So
you.
Amadeus does not notice you skillfully hide it away in your back pocket. and he simply just looks over to Sestar and says, "Well, any time now, sweetheart."
Trevove nods his head
Kamali,
and
hearing
follows
that,
everyone.
goes, "Ew."
Kelnar just keeps walking.
How does Trevove? Not
Once you-
putting his head down in shame.
He picks up his sword and once again rests it back on his shoulder and moves to the head of all the lined up soldiers and says, "You three, bring up the rear."
Okay,
Yep.
we do that.
Yep. Do you know what he means when he says that? What do you
Go
do?
to the back of the line,
We
right?
go to the, we go behind the rest of the troops.
Mm-hmm. And what does Sestar do?
Oh my god. Like, he, out of character, he doesn't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening.
Well, then what does your character? Well, then what does your character do? Like, tell me, what does he do? How does your character react?
Okay, does he know how far they'll be standing away from the stage?
He doesn't really have any way of knowing, considering the fact they were marching. He doesn't know. He doesn't have any clue if they're going to be near the stage or not.
Mm-hmm. One second, I'm trying to check something.
All right.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
like we
how-
discussed this, but we forgot to write this down, which is not good
is-
for me.
What
Which is
did you...
the area of effect of my smoke grenades.
Oh, we discussed that they would affect a area of.
What are you doing, Velvet?
What am I doing?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm asking. What are you doing?
I'm trying to figure something out.
15 across.
15 what?
So 15 feet across. In D&D, a square represents 5 feet. So do you know like the grid squares you see on like D&D mats? Or like all the maps that I've used, each one of them represents 5 feet. So if it is 15 feet across, that means it is basically makes a circle, covers a circle of 3 squares by 3 squares.
So where are we standing right now? Are we standing kind of like in that bigger circle near the gate?
No,
gate?
because you've just come out of the Mooing Mare Inn. So
Okay.
essentially,
So we're in that
you're
smaller circle.
yeah, you're in the small circle. So you're
Okay.
essentially stood by the gals. Like I said, you saw them coming down from the longhouse. Well, from
Okay.
where the longhouse is. Like I said, northeast.
Okay. I have an idea.
Yep, yeah, you've taken that
So,
down. I'm so sorry. That was an overpass by
Oh,
myself.
it's
I
okay.
do apologize.
It's okay, don't worry. So, Sesdot follows the others to the back line, or relatively back line,
Hmm.
and he tells both Kelner and Kamali, I know this is risky, but I'll try to get closer to the stage.
Nothing is happening right now. What are you doing? We
Yeah,
don't need to
nothing
do that.
right now. Right
don't know
now, but
what's even
something
going
will
on.
happen.
Suddenly, from the front, you hear call back. You hear Amadeus call, "Quiet while in rank."
Trevove asks for Kelnar to, bow down so he can talk to him, like whispering into the ear.
Kelnar looks at him and shakes his head, and like gives a 1 second mouthing word, and looks back at Armadeus.
Okay.
Amadeus stomps his foot and says, and says, all starting on the right, forward, march. And you see all the soldiers starting on the right foot start marching forward. And you, following them, march through the town until you come to the front gate. As soon as you come to the front gate, you stop in the center of the large kind of circular opening. And he calls you all to a stop. And upon calling everyone to a stop, you see already at the gate is a group of guards looking rather tired. You can see in their eyes, and underneath their eyes, they've got kind of bags underneath their eyes from probably a very long night, a long night's watch. And he steps forward, goes to them, and you can see him kind of go through relieving them of duty, and then he then turns, and then he starts issuing orders, going through line by line, saying, so, this row will go there, this row will go there, going through, being very militaristic, until all of them have gone. You see some guards go to the front gate, some start climbing ladders to go onto the watch post, others start taking their places, going back into the town, and then he gets to you three, stood, gets to your row, just you. So sorry. And as he stands there looking at you three, he starts to pace back and forth in front of you three before then suddenly planting his sword once again back into the ground, this time with a little more force, very firmly planting it into the ground so that he is able to let go and leave it there. And he then once again paces back and forth, and then he stops in front of you three. And he takes his arms from being behind his back and brings them forward to cross them, and looks at you. His thick brow and his equally as thick mutton chops holding an expression of you wouldn't say anger, but just mild annoyance. And he says, well then, due to the complete lack of obedience and courtesy to follow given orders and very clear instructions, I have a very, very special task for you three today. He raises his arm and points over by the guardhouse. He points over to the guardhouse. And you see, if you follow his hand, you see on the guardhouse wall by the door, you see a board. You recognize this as the board that you had gotten gotten the map of the town from. And he points to it and says, "See that board?"
Yes.
Yeah.
A yes,
About
sir,
what?
usually goes along with it.
Yes,
Very
sir.
good. Very good. You'll learn. That board there is what we call a notice board in polite society. That is where I will usually put the rotatory, aka is a
noticed it.
list. Less of the smart remarks, Miss Kamali. Thank you. That is where I put what is called a rotatory, aka the order in which people will take positions. And also on there, villagers and members of this village will put notices, adverts. It is where they will put jobs that are needed to be done. Now I ask, what do you think I'm going to ask you to do?
To go look on the board and see what needs to be done.
And we have the brains of the operation, I see. And now I ask, when you read said instruction, and he suddenly steps forward and he stands right in front of Kamai, looking down at her with his arms still folded, and he looks down at her, his chest kind of almost billowing out into her chest. He says, "And when you read the instructions on said notice, what do we do with said instructions?"
Trevor
Follow
springs
them.
up and, in an obedient voice, says as follows: "We do as said instructors command us, sir."
He slowly turns his head, looking at Trevove, and says, "Was I talking to you?"
Trevor decides not to say anything.
Oh. He then slowly walks over until now he stood right in front of Sestot. "Ignoring me, we? What, are you too good to listen to your superior officer? Too good to listen to your captain?"
"No, sir, no."
"Very good. Now I ask again, was I talking to you?"
"No, sir, no."
"Very good. When I want to talk to you and I want your opinion on something, I'll ask for it. Understood?"
"Yes, sir."
"Very good." He then takes a step back, and then he turns away, looking at the gate, and he says, "Your companion, Sestot, is very correct. You will follow said instructions to the letter. You will do no more and no less than what is required of you. No gallivanting off, no chasing leads, and most importantly," and then he turns around on his heels and face all three of you and says, "no playing the hero." Am I clear?
Crystal, sir.
Trevolve cuts Kelnard off and shouts, "Yes, sir," preventing Kelnard from continuing in order not to raise any more trouble.
I was just saying Crystal, sir. I was being respectful.
Also, not to be, but if you want to interrupt someone, do. If your character is going to interrupt someone, please do. Like, as in, actually physically interrupt them.
No, that's horrible. That's
well,
horrible.
Well, that's fine.
It's all part of the character.
It's just all part of the character. No one will take it personally. It's not considered rude in D&D. It's just considered it's what my character would do.
Molly keeps her mouth shut and just stares on, waiting for this whole thing to end.
He looks over to Kamali and once again repeats, "Are we clear on this?"
She gives a slight nod.
"That'll do. If I hear any more of your funny business from you two, or especially you," he looks over to Trevove and gives a long sigh, "I don't want to be hearing about any of you causing trouble, please. Go to the board, read what jobs are there, pick up the slack, do what you can to help us. Thank you. Good day." He then takes a step forward.
When do we get to meet the king?
He puts his hand on his sword, and as she asks that, he very firmly grips it, and then slowly turns his head and says, "When do you get to meet the king?"
You heard
I
me.
ask. He then pulls his sword out of the ground and then slowly rests it on his shoulder. "Why are you so anxious to meet the king?"
Because that's the whole reason why we are here. It's said in leather.
It did. You were called upon by the king. And now you are within the king's service. I am an extension of said king. So now, I ask you once again, why in such a hurry to personally meet him? For all I know, you could be spies, you could be thieves, or worse yet, and he looks straight at start looking him right in the eyes and says, assassins.
Do I
And then
really look like I'm here to murder or steal or anything? Spy on people when I've wanted to just comb this entire time?
He slowly brings his gaze along you three and says, I am simply, I am simply the one who sees if you are fit to even get close to His Majesty. You will not see him unless I say you can be trusted. And I'll be frank, you've made a real poor show of it so far. If you want to see the king, you'll start behaving like you belong to the king. Understood? Understood!
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
He nods his head and says, much better. Now, as I said, pick up the slack, help where you can. Good day to you three. And don't cause any more trouble. He then stands to attention, gives you all salute, and then basically marches his way around all of you and then back going up towards the longhouse. And if your eyesight continues to watch him walk that entire distance, you actually see him going inside of the longhouse. And you are just left right there.
You know, I'm starting to think that his brother Arthur got all the charm and happiness, and he was left with just brute force. Anyways, let's go to that building before I throw another mug. And she starts heading off in that direction. Towards the, what is it called? The guardhouse?
Yeah, the guardhouse.
The guardhouse.
It's a small building, and you can see that the guards that you assume are from last night's watch have all kind of filed in there, and there's one kind of lazily resting up against the opposite wall that doesn't have the board on it with all the notices. He's just resting there, and if you actually look close, you can see that his eyes are closed and he's actually fallen asleep resting up against the wall.
Kelnar looks at Sestot and says to him, were you told anything other than what was in that letter? About why we're here?
Trevo exhales heavily after being tensed up after what the royal person had said about him, and being feared that he would be questioned in regards to that, he was scared to talk to anyone. But having heard the question from Kelnar, he simply, in a semi-calm voice, replied, well, I can show you my letter, but I would assume that it's the same thing as you have.
Mine was the same thing as Kamali's, so... He expects us to just follow orders. We didn't even know that we were supposed to prove ourselves that we'll be able to see the king. by being here. We were just told to come here and follow orders. I'm half tempted to just leave, since we're being told nothing.
Well,
I just
Damn
hope my
humans.
people are okay.
good for you being able to leave. He looks away. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the same pleasure.
I'll ask you more about that later. I say we read what's on the board and hopefully get this
If
over
I
with.
see one more guard wearing yellow and purple, I'm gonna lose it.
Let's not make any more trouble. I was hoping.
Not to stay, Sasdat steps forward and shows his outfit containing lots of purple colors. I do say I'm something of a royalty myself.
I was hoping to ask Armadeus about who the nooses are for, but I have a feeling that I won't be able to ask him without him, just get some stuff done. And then I
Get
want
some
to...
stuff done, then we can ask.
Yes. And then we have two things both me and you need to do.
Yes.
I have a feeling we're not going to be able to get out without being seen. So,
And
I
we
say-
still haven't found our straw hat.
I say we try to find
catch
Straw Hat.
Drift.
Let's try to find him while we're in the middle of whatever tasks are on that board. And then we still need to figure out what's going on with what I saw, if you remember. In the doctor's house. And that red powder, if you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's so strange.
There's something going on here.
A lot.
And I feel like you, my friends, do have to tell me everything you know. Caring is sharing.
We will share what is necessary at this moment, but I'm sorry to say, I just barely met you yesterday. And quite frankly, I don't trust you fully yet. But you are
No
getting
hard
there.
feelings.
No hard feelings at all. Just simple case.
It's nothing against you, Trevove. It's just what we've been through these... Was it days or weeks?
A few
I don't even
days.
know.
Few days. It's been a few days.
Yeah.
In 2 days.
Yeah. It's been a lot over these past few days.
Over these few days, it's just been insanity. And it's almost to a breaking point. It hasn't even... has it?
He hasn't even told us why we're here. And what we're supposed to be doing. Or even what the hell is even in that house. I'm half tempted to go to the kingdom itself and just take the
Hold on.
letter. Yes?
What if the vision means something? Think about it. He's talking about the people stealing from the wall, and the people were giving it to the elves. And then my vision... You don't think the elves are trying to overthrow everyone again?
Well, allow me to step in. Around 7 years ago, I did see them in my hometown. And quite frankly, they were very peaceful. No bloodshed, no killing. Once again, they were there for some time. With the same banner that we saw, with a tree and an arrow.
The king wasn't in your town. I probably were using your town resources so they can get to the king, and that would explain why Mr. Smiles is so uptight about seeing the king, because he thinks we're spies for the elves. Does that make sense at all to you?
Not really, to be precise, no. Once again, elves, almost military with batters in my hometown. And there were no problems, no ruckus whatsoever. They were almost peaceful
It
together.
must be something about elves. Why else would he call me? I mean, everything around my species has been based around elves. And
But it makes no sense how they found us.
I keep quiet, but I'm definitely a sight to see, so I'm not that surprised he knew where I was. But you,
Well, for me, it's kind of a mystery.
yeah, I agree with you. I don't know how he found you, since you were kind of secluded in where you lived. And
As for me, I don't see the reason why I was invited. I know, yes. I do realize that my abilities can be proven useful with my magic, but at the same time, there are so many others who can help. Even more than me.
my question, is it actually magic, or are you just using sleight of hand?
My friends, a magician never reveals his secrets.
When
You
he
don't-
says that, can Kamali use mold earth to do the same thing she did to the goblin and like slightly raise the earth where Trevove is standing?
Yes, you can if you want to.
Yes.
So, would Trevove please make a dexterity saving throw?
What is a saving
And,
throw? I forgot.
Dexterity. So, there, on your character sheet, on the first sheet, there's like a little window above your skills. It says saving throws.
I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm
It
blind.
should be. It should be.
We
Do
just
you know where?
end up killing
you know-
Trevove.
You know where? You know where it says dexterity?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right next to it. That little box right next to where it says dexterity.
Okay, while you guys are
yes,
doing...
I see it. I see it.
While you guys are doing your thing real quick, I'm gonna be...
Okay.
What am I supposed to do?
And while you're
So-
doing that, I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
You're
grab
good.
a snack as well.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm gonna call. We all pause and take a break for a second. I'll quickly do this, and then we can all go off and take a toilet break, get some food and drink and whatever.
Yes.
Because I need to go to the toilet as well. We'll
Okay.
quickly finish this up though. Right then.
I'll be here. I'll wait
oh.
for all of you.
Love you, Velvet. See you in a second.
Love you, honey.
So I'll quickly explain this. So, what a saving throw is basically when something happens that you basically are going to want to avoid or stop from happening, such as say being poisoned or having a spell affect you, or in this case, Kamali is about to cast a spell that will move Earth, right, either towards you or like from below you, right? It'll move Earth upwards or around you. So what you are trying to do is obviously you're trying to avoid it. So you would make a dexterity saving throw where you roll a d20, and instead of adding it straight from dexterity, you go to your saving throws and use the stat that you see there. Because
So from
some
the
saving
saving
throws,
throws.
yeah, so from the saving throws, because some saving throws you might be proficient with due to your class.
Well, I do have quite a hefty number, so... Might tell you. Okay, should I roll now or later when we return?
Roll when we return, I'd say, just to make it fair so everyone's here.
Okay.
But yes, I'm very sorry. I'm just going to go take a quick toilet break.
Of course,
I'll be
it's
back.
fine. Take your time.
Alright, I have returned, so sorry.
It's fine, welcome back. But everyone else
Thank you,
is
thank you.
gone.
Did our DM leave too?
Yep. He was done with us. He's had enough.
Oh man, I knew it. So I guess we're just here to entertain the possible viewers and the.
I would assume so if we can even be heard. That's the question.
You wanna battle wits? Who's a better pacifist? I fought the cat system, but you still cannot touch the slim dog's clean now. First name Messiah, rep so hot, I spit yoga fire. Everything you preached, I said it first. Once you jot down these words, memorize my whole verse.
We'll
You
get
know on the door
copyrighted.
like the real Martin Luther.
We'll get
I don't
copyrighted.
think
No!
Junior.
The copyright is here. It's stroke.
I have turned off the music bot anyway, so.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. We got a
Bon
donut.
appetit. It's not a donut, honey.
Question: can the viewers hear us?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Awesome. They heard that beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Heard what?
Oh, nothing.
If you want. You wanna battle wits? Who's a better pacifist? I fought the cat. I fought the cat system, but you still cannot touch the slum dog skilly now. First name Messiah, rap so hot, I spit yoga fire. Everything you preached, I said it first. Once you jot down these words, plagiarize my whole verse. You'll know like the real Martin Luther. I don't think you ever overcome this, Junior.
Copyright isn't an issue because she's singing it.
Honey, it's so well that it's pretty much the copy.
You want to battle wits? Who's a better pacifist? I fought the cat system, but you still cannot touch the slum dog skilly now. First name Messiah. I'm sorry. Anyways.
Is our DM gone?
Our DM passed
Gone.
on into
Reduced
the
to
realm
atoms.
of wonder. So you see, so the notes I have here say the guards are at a place called Suller's Valley, and the guards wear gold, yellow, and royal purple. The human king goes by the name of Alstan Boromir the First, I think. And then he has a son named Nathaniel, who tried flirting with Kamali. And then we met Miss Millard, who also goes by Mama Mare. She owns the Mooing Inn. Amadeus, his real name is Barlow.
returned from our break. I hope everyone enjoyed the break as much as we did.
Yes. I know I did. I got a donut, or I already ate it at least.
I got some water because, yeah,
I definitely feel a pound
it's
lighter.
not milk. Are you sure it was a pound?
I think I'd die if
good
I
day.
became a pound lighter.
Oh, poor thing.
Oh goodness. Right then, are we ready to continue?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
So, Kamali. Yes.
I just wanted to ask, when are we planning on wrapping it up, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, in fact, if you want, we can wrap up right now. It's up to you. It's up to
Velvet,
everyone else here.
Me?
when would you like to finish, since I know it's really late for you?
I do not care. I have a day off tomorrow.
Well,
So I can still be here for hours and hours.
let's not have you stay up all night, though.
I was about to say
Huh?
that.
I'd love to, though.
Feel a bit guilty there.
Please
Oh,
don't, it's my choice.
Well, yes, that is true. It is his choice.
Very true.
I'm fine with I'm gonna be home alone for the next
I'm
2 hours.
honestly fine. I have all night, and I can sleep in tomorrow because my dinner date the restaurant we're going to opens at 11,
Okay, that's fair.
so I'm good.
So yeah. Okay. Well, shall we continue then, or shall we call it?
I'm fine with continuing.
Dylan, what do you want to?
I'm fine with whatever.
Let us continue.
Let's continue.
Okay then. Okay then.
Anyways, what?
The last time when we left off, Kamali, you were doing something. What were you
I
doing?
was hop, drop, and locking it. No,
Throwing it
I
back.
forgot what it was.
You
What
are
was it?
making
Yeah,
the
what
ground
was it?
underneath him, underneath.
Oh,
Trevor.
yes! I was making the earthquake.
Yes.
Anyways. So, pretty much like the last session, actually no, the session before last, I say earth rise, and all of a sudden, the earth below Taro's feet begins to rise up, and it
Why
goes
are
up a
you-
good 6
Okay.
feet into the air.
Out of character,
Okay.
why are you doing this?
Because you were going off about magic stuff. You'll understand.
She's basically saying this is the superior magic over whatever you do.
Trevove, would you please make a
Saving roll.
dexterity saving roll. What's the spell save DC?
What?
I'm asking Kamali what her spell save DC is.
Also, I think I'm saved.
It's basically the number you have to roll in order to avoid it.
14.
Oh.
14.
I don't even have to use my plus dexterity because I have 18. But I have plus 6, so I have 24.
Okay. Since you rolled so high, how do you want to do this? How do you avoid it? Tell us.
So, okay, please describe me, Emily. I apologize. What is
Describe
happening?
what?
Like, how is this happening? I mean, what is happening with the earth beneath me?
Oh, okay. So, underneath you, the earth starts to rise up suddenly to 6 feet. But with your dex, you.
So,
you won't.
I am pretty much on this little column of earth that's rising up, correct?
Well, with your roll, you've avoided it.
Damn, I want something else, but okay.
Well, what do you do? What do you do to avoid or move around or whatever it is you do to,
So I just... Honestly, I did not want to avoid it. I wanted to step on this thing and rise up while maintaining balance perfectly to loom over Kelnar after saying what
That's
I
fine.
said.
Okay, that's fine. That's what
I
happens.
mean, that could be what his dex save is literally just
Yeah,
keeping
basically it
balance.
stops. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly
Giant
fine.
mound taking
That's
him off.
perfectly fine. That works.
So yeah, okay, as the earth rose up, Sasdat caught himself in a perfect balance, not moving an inch, so maintaining perfectly still, with his hands behind his back, and now looming over Kelnar. After having said that, a magician never reveals his secrets. After that, he, like a spring joint, he just sprungs from this so-called earth platform and lands on the earth beneath him perfectly. Very gracefully, very gracefully. That's the neat part.
You're telling me your rat can do that? And she like gestures to the earth mound she just made.
Well, I mean, Chalky Ivan, he is a rat of many talents.
Alright, well, I'm done. Let's just see what's on this stupid wall. And she turns to the guardhouse and looks at the notice board for what's on there.
Okay. Might I please say that our dear Nova Legacy has his mic?
Thank you.
Would you like to would you like to explain to the audience what just happened?
What do you mean?
The fact that your lips were moving but no sound was coming out.
Yes, I'm practicing my ventriloquy.
Ventrically.
Ventriloquy.
Ventriloquy.
Very good.
Quee.
Quay.
Anyways.
Quee.
Quay.
Cool.
Wee, wee.
Anyways, before we get off track, D&D everyone. Anyways, yes. Is anyone else going to look at the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Did Travolve get down the 6-foot mound already?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so he
Okay.
sprung off.
I was
Sprung
about
off.
to say to Travove, Chunky Ivan.
Why? That's just creepy.
That just hurts, man.
Alright.
Chunky.
So here's the notice board that he's going on.
As you look at the notice boards, you see quite a few notices strewn about, but the two that catch your eye, that seem to be one seems to catch your eye because of how recent it seems, and the one catches your eye because you notice that looking under it, you can see that the same notice has been put in the exact same place multiple times. The other ones below it, like, having bits ripped off or being, like, sodden wet. The one that is the newest simply reads, boar meat needed for coming celebration. Will pay for any fresh meat and hide. That is like written in bold, and below it says, see Crispin at the butchery by the fountain for location and pay. For discussion of location and pay.
Wait, can you read that
And
again?
then
They want boar meat.
yes. Sorry, I shall read it again. Reading again, you see in big letters reads, boar meat needed for coming celebration. Will pay for any fresh meat and hide. And then in smaller text, in smaller writing underneath, it says, see Crispin at the butchery by the fountain for discussion of location and pay. Crispin, by the way, is spelled Crispin, Crispin, or Crispian,
Like
as some
crispy
people.
bacon.
Well, Crispin or Crispian, some people pronounce it, but there's no A, so but it's Crispin.
Kelnar looks at Kamali and says,
Crisp.
if he has us go outside the walls, that could be a good way to, you know.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
And the other one, which has been put up many times before in the exact same place, reads, notice, willing people to give blood for new healing technique. And then, once again, written in smaller writing, see Brother Lazarus at the healing church if willing.
that ties into the red powder people.
I think I have a plan. Okay. You do the boar thing. I do the healing thing that's saying. Is there anything else on the
Nova.
board?
But
Yes.
the question is, will they
Nova?
accept your blood?
Yes.
If you split the pie again, I will wring your neck. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, but if you split the pie again, I will wring your neck.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. Scratch that.
You don't realize if you lot split up, I'm basically gonna have to run 2 sessions at once. I'm not hiding that. Some other DMs might just grin and bear it, but I'm being honest with you lot. Do not split the
No,
party.
you're being honest, and it is true.
That is. Can I be honest? Okay, like I think I've talked to this before, but everyone out there who's experienced with D&D will know. But if you're not, I will tell you right now that one of the big rules is never split the party, because you know what happens when you split the party? One of you gets in trouble, or one of you gets injured or downed, and no one else can help you.
Yep.
And also, it becomes a big pain in the ass for the DM because he's basically having to run 2 sessions at once, and he's constantly have to balance going back and forth between them. So, I repeat, I love you, Nova, but please, stop splitting the party.
Okay. I won't split us. Alright, there
It
will
was
be no
it's
splitting.
fine. It was fine when there was 2 of you, but there are now 3 of you, which is an uneven number, and that scares me.
Alright, well, let's see. We've held off the Lazarus people.
What'd you say?
We've held... He said 4, Chunky Ivan.
Oh, what were you
Chalky
saying?
Ivan.
What were you saying?
Oh, I was talking in character.
Oh, then continue, please.
Continue, please. I'm
Anyways.
so sorry.
So, here's what I think we should do. Since we've already held off for a long time with this healing church people, and the red powder and the bird mask, I think we should hold off for that a little bit longer and go after this boar. That way we can get outside the
I think that's a
and we
good
can
idea.
check
On that. If they do send us
Because-
outside the walls.
But if we do, who's to say Straw Hat didn't make escape?
Your microphone cut out at the end.
Your mic.
No.
Might I suggest moving your mic so it's not off to the side? Just at the moment, you keep turning right away from it, and it cuts you off.
I'm sorry.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
Anyways.
It's okay. It's just
Okay, is this better?
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
We should be able to hear you. If you're talking directly out, we should be able to hear you. We're experienced
Aw.
voice actors, we swear.
I'm still learning. Anyways, who's to say if we do go out there that our little Straw Hat friend didn't back through the rabbit hole when we weren't looking?
Do you really honestly think he did? There's nowhere else to go. I
There's
don't
always
know.
an option.
Yeah.
Well, I do say that perhaps hunting a boar would be much easier for all of us, because I don't know if any of your bloods will be accepted. Speaking of a centaur and whatever you are. As for me, I am not too keen on sharing blood.
I'll be sure to push you first into a horde of vampires when come the chance that. And she winks jokingly and rips the notice off for what was it? The boar's meat.
Mhm.
And going to see Crispin, Mr. Crispy Bacon.
Oh goodness.
So, are we in agreement on this? And she holds it up to Travove and Kilnar.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's figure out where that butchering place is, or wherever this crispy bacon guy
Look
is.
at the map.
Crispy bacon. Okay.
Cells, guardhouse, stables. It is not on the map. Oh, it probably
My
is in
bet-
game.
Shall,
But
shall I
I
shall I
bet it's on
read
the
out?
right.
Shall I read out what the notice says?
yes.
Yes.
please.
We reread the notice for the 10th time.
Yes. In bold writing, it reads: "Boar meat needed for coming celebration. Will pay for any fresh meat and hide." And then in smaller writing, it says: "See Crispin at the butchery by the fountain for location and pay."
By the fountain. All
Wouldn't
right.
would a fountain be
Do you
closer
know
to the
where
town
the
square?
fountain is?
It's to the right behind the inn. I believe.
All right. Well, let's start marching that way then, guys.
Yeah,
Well,
it's to
you
the east.
please take me around because I am new around here.
Kelmer, why don't you take lead?
Okay. Well, I guess I got the map. Let's go. We make our way over to the fountain.
Very good. As you follow the map and you weave your way through, you can see that this part of the village is a lot more modernly developed. There's a lot more houses that are using bricks and mortar rather than wood paneling and thatch roofs. And you know, as you walk through, you see the people are the same. There's no, you don't get a sense of class separation. You just get a case of, you know, the village was built to one size and then expanded outwards. And obviously, as the buildings go, they get more and more, quote unquote, modern for your times. Walking through, you soon enough come across a fountain. You come across this beautiful looking fountain made very nicely and ornately, with a nice centerpiece kind of slowly dribbling out water. And you can see some children kind of walking around playing, and you see a lovely looking young lady with a basket full of flowers over her arm, and you can hear calling out saying, "Flowers for sale, you know, fresh summer flowers for sale," calling out. And you don't see any sign of anyone well, you would assume fits the name Crispin.
That's a beautiful fountain.
Should we ask around?
Hey, excuse me, miss. I walk over to the lady.
Okay. As you walk over to her, she sees you approaching, and when she looks at you, her smile seems to instantly brighten, and she kind of holds out her elbow with the flowers and says, "Oh, hello. Would you like some flowers? I freshly picked them myself on my own garden, all natural."
They are very, very pretty, I have to say, but not today.
"Oh, okay." And she almost seems to basically get ready to kind of move on with trying to sell her flowers.
I have a quick question to ask you.
She quickly turns back and says, yes, well, how can I help?"
Do you know anybody around here by the name of Crispin?
"Oh, Crispin, yes, Crispin, the butcher's son. Yes, here." And she turns around and she says, "Here, if you just go down that alleyway and keep going, and then it'll be right on your right. Just follow the smell of meat. You'll get there."
All right, thank you so much. Lovely flowers, by the way.
"Oh, thank you very, very much. I hope you and your..." And she as she looks behind you and sees the other, she says, "You and your
interesting companions have a very good day. She then turns away and continues, calling out flowers, fresh flowers for sale, fresh summer flowers for your sweetheart, for your darlings, and she goes off continuing to sell her flowers.
Well, down the alley and to the, I think she said.
To the right.
All right, let's go. Follow our noses.
As you go down and follow her directions, it doesn't take too many seconds before you quite literally get the smell of fresh meat and also to say a burnt meat smell would kind of be wrong. It's more of a cooking meat smell, though meat probably cooked well beyond what is palpable for your tastes. As you follow the smell, soon enough you come to a small, very compact one-floor building, which has a big open window on one side of it, with a big sign, nicely decorated, and the words carved into the sign of the wooden sign just reads butchery. And you can see a rather large man with big meaty palms and a very big flabby face. You can tell that he's an older man, maybe in his 50s, and you can tell by his size that he definitely partakes in what he sells. He definitely enjoys his meats. And you can see at the moment he has a big butcher knife in his hand, and you can hear the as he chops away at a big set of ribs from a large animal.
Excuse me, sir.
He is just raising the hatchet to slide back down, and then looks over and goes,
Is your son by any chance Crispin?
Either he slowly brings down the hatchet and gives a small sigh and rolls his eyes and says, "Ugh. Listen, whatever bet that foolish boy has made has nothing to do with me.
No bets. The notice on the notice board said that y'all were looking for meat.
Notice? I didn't put up on that. Notice. Oh. Listen, if he's trying to slack off his chores again, please do not help him. The boy's only going to learn if he actually does what I tell him to do himself. The last bit, he kind of raises the volume of his voice as if to make someone else hear what he's saying.
So we're not going to be able to do this job?
Suddenly from a door that you assume leads into the actual house area of the business, a very small, weedy lad, no more than maybe 15, 14 maybe, with a very big, messy set of very badly cut ginger hair and freckles all along his face, comes bursting out. He has a very loose-fitting tunic with a very even looser-fitting apron kind of strewn over him, and he quickly comes out and goes, no, I'll still pay you, Dad. This is the help I was gonna get, about the ball problem. His father then gives a sigh and goes, "Oh, for goodness sakes, boy. I've told it," and they start to have a little bickerment back and forth. You hear the father you can kind of gather that this was something that the son was meant to do, and instead he's trying to move on to someone else. They bicker back and forth for a bit, with the father soon enough just slamming his cleaver into the meat and right through into the board, and then just walking out, kind of cussing underneath his breath. The young son kind of gives a small, hi, whoa. He straight away, as soon as he, brings his eyes to Kalnar, he kind of slowly looks at him and goes, "Oh, you're, I didn't think you'd be that big."
Trevor steps in, covering Kelnar, well, at least trying to cover Kelnar with his body, and putting his arms in the air, saying, "Not to fear. We'll be glad to help you for, of course, some pay. Now, please do tell us."
Molly says, "Put your arms down," and like, kind of like smacks Trivel's arms away from Kelnar.
I just looked down at both of you guys like, okay. Are you sure we're able to help?
The lad quickly nods and says, "Oh, yes, yeah, you can help, ignore my dad. He's just, he's one of those guys, he's my dad, I like him and all, but he's just one of these guys that doesn't get it, he thinks, if you're a man, you do everything yourself, he's one of those guys, he doesn't accept help, and we do kind of need help."
As this young man tells that, Trevov nudges Kelnar with his elbow, whispering, "Money is money."
I was just getting to that. Give me a second. And how exactly will you be, paying us for this job, considering that you're living with your father?
Well, no, you see, we have this kind of thing going where if anyone in the village brings us meat, we basically, we bargain back and forth, for how much we can give them for us to have the meat, because usually what we'll do is we'll give them, a reasonable price, but then we'll sell it on to, like, passers-by and, local tradesmen for a lot more. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to tell people that. Ignore I said that. Basically, we have a trading system going on. You give us meat, we give you money. Please ignore that part. Oh, no.
Passerby, is that as in like people that travel through town, or people outside the wall?
Oh,
And don't think about lying. I'm not
like
stupid.
travelers, people that, come through here. Well, we used to have a lot of people that came through here. We used to do a lot of trade back in that day, but then, the elf thing kind of happened. And then the walls.
Oh, yeah. And can you tell us more about that?
He kind of has a bit of a confused look on his face, and he says, "Yeah, like a good few months back now, like maybe last year or something. Like, yeah, we started getting. Well, I heard that like the guards started seeing like elves riding by off across the plains. I didn't really think of anything at the time. I thought, well, they're elves, they're allowed to come and go as they please. We're at peace now. That war was like 100 years ago. I wasn't even born. Hell, my dad wasn't even born back then. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, and yeah, they were just riding across the plains, and no one thought anything of it until they started getting closer and closer. And then one day they drove right through our town, shooting off their arrows and making a bit of a mess. Just rode through, shot off a few arrows, and then rode back out. And
was the king okay, or was he at a different location at that time?
The king. I'm sorry, like I can tell you guys aren't from around here, but really, you think the king would hang around here? The only reason we've got guards that aren't just the locals are because of the elf attack. If it wasn't for the elves constantly attacking villages, we wouldn't have this kind of protection. Like, no offense to them, but we're kind of usually on our own out here. Wait, I'm not meant to say that. Ignore that part.
Excuse me for a second.
Yeah?
Attacking villages? Because I have a rather different experience with elves.
Kelnar leans into Kamale and says, "That's probably why they're gonna execute those three." I have a feeling.
Because as you see,
Makes sense, but even then, did they really have a choice slammed between that and the elves?
I don't think that's what they're thinking. I don't think that's what the Armadeus is thinking. But anyways, continue that.
let's just say while they are whispering, Cessdot explained to the little guy about how he had experienced 7 years ago with elves being peaceful at his hometown.
He just kind of gives a shrug and says, well, okay, if they're peaceful with you, fair enough, but like I said, I have a mate that like exchanged letters with. He's like in the next town over, and they got raided like I don't know, something like 10 times, like in like 1 month. And it took them, and they were like, boarded
How
up way
recent was
before
that?
us. That was ages ago. That was, if the attack happened a month ago. You see him kind of counting up on his hands, probably not being the brightest with numbers. You go, that was about like, if that wasn't, that was like a month before we got attacked. Like, I didn't really think there was any correlation, but my friend seems to think there's this whole big conspiracy that like the elves are in league with the humans and they're using the elves to keep us repaired. It's a whole thing. Honestly, I think it's nonsense, but it's fun to read.
Is that why you're asking someone else to go fight these or get these boars because you don't want to go out due to the elves?
No, I'm not scared of elves.
Kamali
You don't
looks
know-
down at him with probably the same expression that Kelnar's giving him.
I'm not scared of elves. It's just I'm not exactly scared of elves, but I am kind of scared of them boar. They've got very big tusks and they're very fast. And I'm not exactly good with a bow.
Well, you kind of got the right people to accept this job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're willing to help.
Oh, thank you. Really, seriously, thank you. Yeah, just here. Wait here, and he quickly goes off
Kid,
and
Wait,
Mhm.
Crispin, is it?
yeah, that's my name, Crispin. It should have said on the notice.
On the back of this notice, if you have charcoal, something to write with, could you write that you requested the 3 of us to go outside the wall to search for more?
Sure, I guess. He walks over to like a little workbench and he comes back with a small like tube of wood with a small bit of lead on the end, and he quickly kind of in very kind of handwriting that you can tell is as equally messy as the hand that wrote the notice, writes down that, I Crispin
Kamali, this is stretching it a bit.
these free how do you spell permission?
Permission.
Yeah, permission to go outside
Trust
the
me, it's in case Mr. Smiles questions that we were doing it or not.
there you go. Do I need to like sign my name or anything like those like contracts that like they do?
No, there's no need to. Thank you.
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. And she takes it back.
It's okay. Oh, wait, yeah, the map. And then he quickly turns down, kind of like as he's walking by, quite quickly drops the small writing device on the workbench before heading inside. And so if he comes back out with a map, and as he places it down, you see the map is essentially a tiny bit bigger one of the map that you have. That shows basically a lot more of like kind of the forested areas around your location, and you can see to the, if you look at the map, if we're just using this map, you can see that to the east there is a much smaller forested area than the one that's to the west. And you can see it's a small forested area, and next to it is like a little caricature of like a pig with very big tusks and like quills on its back. It's very crudely drawn, kind of what you assume is meant to be a boar. And he kind of points down on the map as he lays it on the table and says, "Right there, that's where the boar usually nest. That's basically where the boar live. We kind of keep them in that area for like hunting season and stuff." stuff like that. Usually, it used to be a big tradition. We used to have a big holiday where, like, all the young men would go out, and it'd be like, it'd be a thing. You prove yourself to be a man and all that. But with the walls and all that, we've kind of not been able to do that. So I kind of missed my chance to do that. My dad says I'll get to do it someday, but who knows. But yeah, they should be right there. It's right there, can't miss it. If you go in there, you should find boar.
Well, there we have it, folks.
Alright.
Doesn't seem to be too difficult now, does it?
No, I mean, unless it's more bigger than me, I think we'll be fine.
Oh, no. They're not like... Yeah, they're scary and fast, but they're not that big. They're like, they're like the size of like a small cow.
A small cow.
Well, like a really big cow, like what are the babies called? Halves, like a half. Yeah, calves. That's it, calves. Yeah, one of them. Like they're kind of like the size of one of them.
Out of character, was that you making fun of my American accent? That just
No, that was. I'm genuinely not trying to make fun. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Anyways, it's okay.
No, that was. I just generally was making it so he doesn't know what the hell a cow's called.
Hey,
He's not very
first we
bright.
had this, and now we got calf.
Anyway.
Okay, so all right.
Good lord.
Is there a specific amount you want?
Just whatever you can carry back, and obviously if it's a good cut of meat and there's a lot of it, I'll try and pay you what's fair. I'll try.
Okay.
Alright, in that case, we'll take the map and this notice here, and we'll be on our way.
Okay.
You fine with that? Trevove.
Of course. Yet again, money is money, so we'll do our best.
Do we all have our
Thank you for
weapons
accepting
on
us.
us, by the way?
Do we all have what?
Weapons on us.
Oh, we have everything,
Yes, we do.
so yes.
Okay. Alright, in that case, here's the map, Mr. Kilmar.
Thank you. I guess I'm leading the way.
You
So
seem to be good at it, so why, differ from it?
out of character, how about we, how long do you think it'll take to do this boar mission?
It depends how it goes, but if you want to call it here, we can. If you feel comfortable calling it here, we can. If you would like.
What do you guys think?
We can call it here.
Yeah, are you fine with that?
But do you want to though?
I kind of do. My eyes
That's
are getting
fair, if
tired
you've-
from staring at a screen.
That's fine. That's fine. If you've reached your
Yeah.
limit, that's perfectly fine. We've been going for a good. Oh, we've definitely been going for a good 3 hours now.
All right, I say this is a good point to stop.
Right then.
What do you think, Velvet?
I mean, personally, I would say for much longer, but if you want to go, it's okay.
I say we could stop here. We always have next time.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah,
I
now we've got on a
agree.
more regular schedule.
eyes
I
are
think we can
hurting.
definitely. Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Han?
Of course, whatever's comfortable with you guys.
Okay. Well, then, let's leave it here.
All right then. Right then.
Right.
So.
So.
So,
Time
So-
stops. Time stops on our dear adventurers, but we continue. Please join us once again on the next session of Orphans of the Feywild, where our brave adventurers will wander out into the wilderness to hunt down some wild boar. But perhaps will they find that maybe some sharp, filthy tusks are the less of their worries. This and more on the next episode of Orphans of the Feywild. Thank you to all those that came in and watched this live and all those that are watching this episode in the future. And thank you to my players for once again being amazing.
Yep.
Thank you,
And
viewers.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
DM.
Thank you,
Thank you for having
DM.
us.
Thank you.
DM.
Always
Clap,
happy.
clap, 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 clap.
And once again, I thank you all very much for joining us and for watching. So I hope all of you stay safe and please join us next time. But more importantly, keep adventuring. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.